Let's watch.
Oh, thank you guys. I am so sorry. I was muted that whole time. Thank you, Donna. Hey, Donna. I just said, hey, Donna, and then I see your comment. Um, this is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Today is New Year's Eve, and my neighbors are outside having a party. They are partying it up out there. So if you happen to hear music in the background, just bear with me on it because they're having really they're having a blast out there. So I see everybody in here. Oh my gosh, we have Forever Nikki's mom. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom, for being here. It's so good to see you. Tony, hey Jude. Let's see, Brown Eyed Girl is here. Nice to see you. We have, oh my goodness, Panda Bear's mom is here. Show Poodles, Dreams. Oh my goodness, guys. So nice to see you. I see a whole bunch of lot lizards in the house. So nice to see you guys. Thank you all so much. Whoever watched my video earlier, it was about Nikki. Nikki is up on the screen right now, and she is someone who, when I read her story, I really took it to heart because it is a very, very sad story, and I'm sorry to bring that to you guys today, but I I wanted to work hard on it. I also want to thank Forever Nikki's mom for all of her help with it. I couldn't have done that without you, so thank you so much. And but we're gonna talk about Crystal later. Crystal's on the screen. Her sister Jana reached out to me. She is a sweetheart. She reminds me of my little sister, just really feisty and yeah, she's amazing. So we're gonna talk about um, two cases tonight. Of course, Sebastian Rogers was in the thumbnail, and so we're gonna get to Yada. But I wanted to wish everybody a happy new year, and also just bear with me if you hear the background. It's just people having a good time. So I'm going to go ahead and play Yada's first. Give me 1 second here. I'm also going to change our background, but I don't want to do an overlay. I'm so glad to see everyone tonight. I hope you all are having a wonderful night, and I hope you're excited for tonight's show. All right, guys, let's watch.
So I did homes. My name is Yada. I am part of Katie's Rosenbaum family, a very large family. Yes, I am her biological mom's cousin. And from the beginning when I found out Sebastian was missing, I have been watching this crazy carnival. And it has been so upsetting. Like I said, I've been watching this from the very beginning. And it's interview after interview. The stories kept changing. And I got an email, a private message from a couple of my cousins after a picture was posted, and a lot of horrible things were being said about our family. And I would defend my family to my dad.
Right.
But then I kept seeing the story change, and my heart just kept sinking every time I heard it. Changing. And I didn't want to believe that there was any capability of that happening.
Hold on, just...
And every time the story changed, my heart would sink. And I was in a lot of Facebook groups, and anytime I would go and chat, I would see these comments, and I would ask, what makes you say that? Or, well, tell me why you're saying that. And anytime I had something different to say, I even had one gentleman, I say gentleman, and I'm going to say that politely because I am not here for any hate, tell me, do not ever come to Hendersonville. Don't ever come to Tennessee. And I asked him, why do you say that? And he's like, trust me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I have some friends on my Facebook now who actually saw that. And I'm like, wow. And what is going on? And at that time I kept catching little snippets of different YouTube creators, and I'm hearing all this hate towards Seth, and then I'm hearing a lot of comments that Chris is making, and I'm really paying attention. I'm taking notes, and I have a very, very large family who usually
how when people hear how large your family is, tell us about how large your family is.
we are over 120 just on the Rosenbaum side. When my grandmother died, my granny, and I'm the only one named after her, there was something like 49 grandchildren, 39 great grandchildren, 30 some great grandchildren, and it's been growing ever since. So we are over 100 strong.
So this is what she posted on the Justice for Sebastian Facebook group. It says, "This will be my last post, and I hope everyone reading this will understand why. Since the beginning, I struggled with the thought that a member of my very own family could ever do something as heinous as getting rid of their child. Like every single YouTuber was saying. Then I watched this interview. Sorry, it's a little blurry, and became a skeptic. Then the second interview and felt sick. The third interview, all doubt was gone. I had held hope, maybe an accident. Then she left town saying he could be anywhere now. Blood relative only holds so much hope and faith, and I couldn't pray this feeling away. Months later, so many lies, YouTube creators flipping the script as if they're threatened. No way, I thought. They never wanted a single vigil. They never went to a single vigil, couldn't find time for searches, lied on a Sumner County custody position, fully cleared by LE and in no danger or threat. She seemed to love her summer with someone else's child, forgetting her own. Now, anyone who's steadfast in finding Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is met with threats, fake profile harassment, and legal action, gag orders, First Amendment rights stripped. Every day I truly feel like I wanted to apologize, but every day I wanted to scream at every state and federal representative for the state of Tennessee and ask them, can you not see what's happening in this county? What mother steals her missing child's name out of the mouth of people who want him found? Why is nothing being done about the threats to the people searching? Then I want to ask my extended family, why are you all so quiet? Do you think this is okay? I don't. If you did nothing wrong, prove us wrong. Let people search without fear, hang flyers without getting police called on them, and show his name and picture. Stop spending your time and money in court on lawyers silencing people over lies. Let people help bring him home. Otherwise, tell us what happened."
I cried for days before I wrote that. Yeah. And even though they were doxed, I mean, my family is normally not quiet. So I'm actually surprised I haven't been getting a lot of response from them. You know, I have seen posts on other pages, questioning who I am. Trust me, I am who I am. I am who I say I am. I have receipts.
Correct.
I have not seen her since her grandfather, my Uncle Don, died. And that was in 2015. And I did get to meet Sweet Sebastian then. That was her favorite grandfather. When she was born, she was not around the family. Her mother was married in West Virginia, and she did not come to our side of the family until she was like 8 or 9-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, her grandma and grandfather, they doted over her.
Very protective of her as well, too.
Yes. She was a very coddled person. And everybody in the family, anytime we saw my Uncle Don and Aunt Suzanne, how's Katie? How's Katie? Because, she wasn't with them long. She went to live with her dad. And I know everybody says her Aunt Penny, but it was in between her dad and her Aunt Penny, David Payne and her Aunt Penny, but mostly with her dad, David. And we would always ask, how's Katie? How's Katie? Oh, she's doing great. Oh, she's doing great. And, when she graduated, I had lived in North Carolina next to her, and was and still am very close to her aunt and uncle there. I remember my Uncle Don and Aunt Suzanne came in town to visit, and it was right when Katie graduated, and she was going to culinary school, and she was a chef at a really nice restaurant at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. And she's doing great, but that was a really hard time in her life. There was a lot going on at that time when she was 17, before she turned 18. And it had nothing to do with Seth.
Did you ever know about Seth?
No, she had a boyfriend that wasn't Seth.
Did you ever know about Chris or ever meet Chris?
No. After she moved away, she had left, and, she had Sebastian when she was 19.
Right.
But they were married by then. And
closer to 20, right?
Yeah, closer to 20. But, and Seth got permission from my Uncle Don to marry her.
Gotcha.
And I will tell you, my Uncle Don is a very religious, honorable man. I don't know exactly how it happened, but the fact that he did it, and let me put it this way. The fact that my Uncle Don gave his permission, I will tell you, means a lot.
Gotcha.
Because of my Uncle Don's very strong faith in his religion and his love of God, he would not have given just any Joe Schmo permission to marry Katie. Katie was very much, I want to say, his pride and joy. I think when she first got there, I think because it was...
Okay, guys, so that was just going to be the next clip. What's her fondest memory of Katie? And for those of you who don't know, well, thank you for Hey Jude for posting that up for me. But for those who don't know, that's going to be Katie's mother's cousin. So it's her second cousin. For those of you that don't have really, really big families, it's just kind of like whenever it's your mom or your dad's cousin, it's your second cousin. Instead of your direct cousin, that would be your mom or dad's brother's, sister's kids, right? So she knew Katie when she was about 8 or 9-ish till about 18, 19-ish, about the time that she married Seth. Now, Yeda, she said one thing that really stood out to me was in the very beginning when she said she can't pray this feeling away. Okay, so she really doesn't want to feel this way about a member of her family. She wants to love Katie and think that Katie loves her son Sebastian, right? So that's just part of, that's just kind of part of it. Basically, she doesn't want to feel this way, and she's pondered it for a long time, right? So she says the reasons why she can't pray the feelings away is 1, they didn't go to the vigils. 2, they never searched. 3, they lied on the custody petition when they were trying to get Faith for the summer. And this is all alleged in Yeda's opinion, just so you guys know. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. And so basically, she was upset with Katie for these reasons, and she was trying to figure out why she was doing this. So she feels like she forgot Sebastian when Faith came for the summer. I can understand that to a certain extent, but then also I can stick up for Katie in the way that Chris isn't around and someone had to be home with Faith. So it was kind of not an ideal situation. But either way, Yeda said that was one of the clues for her. And she says that her family is extremely quiet, that her family doesn't stay extremely quiet. So she's just wondering why all of them have not come forward and said anything. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. That's so sweet of you for gifting a membership. Whoever gets that membership, please say thank you to Forever Nikki's mom. Oh, look at you guys. Thank you, Dreams, for thank you so much, you guys. You guys are so sweet. You guys are so sweet. Okay, guys. And then let's see. Oh, she also mentions that she wants people to just be able to post flyers without getting sued, without having any issues, without being harassed or followed. She says she doesn't like that and she thinks it's weird. And I think it's weird too. You don't often hear about people taking flyers down of missing children. For instance, the ones that I put up in Missouri, there was a laundromat that I went by every day to make sure it was still up there. And it was. They didn't take it down. So there's that. She said that she wants her to stop, basically stop getting people in trouble and lying on them. And I do feel like she lied on BHB when it came to the ROs that were in place. I don't think that they ever should have gotten the ROs to begin with. I don't understand why they would have done that. I think it's crazy, and I think it's a misuse of the system. I made up some videos, so if you guys want to take a look at that, feel free to do so. But basically, she misused the system, Katie and Chris did, and so did the Flying Monkey Socks. So basically, let's see here. Okay, so Yeda also says that she cried for days about this. She did not want to put this out into the YouTube verse. I can tell that she was hesitant to do this interview with BHB, but she decided to do it anyway because of the very strong feelings she was having. But she said she cried for days after she posted the Facebook post that was read in the video. Okay, and let's see. Oh, again, her family is not quiet, and Yeda says that she has receipts. So I believe Yeda. I know there are some people out there that do not believe Yeda. Okay, I completely understand that. We had a couple of people come in here like, what does she know? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, she's Katie's family member, and she knew Katie from the time that Katie was little, and then up until she was basically through her teenage years. And then they lost touch because Katie... essentially, I think a big reason was because she got married and then she enlisted in the service. So people that are in the Navy, they go everywhere. That's one of the most traveled branches of the United States military. But either way, Katie got married, and then Yeda talks about Katie getting married with Seth. So Grandpa Don was the one that gave the blessing for the marriage. So he's very religious. He wasn't going to allow just any, Tom, Dick, or Harry off the street to marry Katie. He was very serious, loved his granddaughter, and was a caregiver to her, and basically wasn't going to allow just anybody to marry her. So Seth does just that, asks for her hand in marriage, and they get married. So they were in love. She had a boyfriend when she was around 18 years old, right before she met Seth. So she was seeing somebody before Seth. There was a lot of issues at that time for her between about 17 and 18 is what Yeda says. And that they weren't anything to do with Seth. And she did have another boyfriend. Let's see. Yeah, got permission from Grandpa Don. So there's that. And I find her to be credible. I think she's very credible. Blue Star Mom, great to see you. Everybody, welcome into the chat. It's so good to see all of you. I'm so glad we had such a wonderful turnout tonight. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about, so I'm so happy to see all of you. So with that, I've been talking a whole lot. Let me take a look and see what everybody has to say. Thank you, Hey Jude, for the flying monkeys. I need to make monkey socks. I need to do the little sock monkeys and make them fly around, and I'll make another one too. You guys are so sweet for those memberships. Thank you so much. Dream says, Lady, I was working on email, found some new information. I have to turn it before I send it to you. No problem. Yeah, just send it over to me. I'll shoot you my phone number too, just so you have it. That way you can if you have to text it, you can do that. Absolutely. And I'm sorry if I don't get your emails right away, guys. Shar, it's so good to see you. Good to see you, Lot Lizard. I got change. Don't be sorry, dreams. Don't be sorry in here, guys. We're having a party. I don't know if you guys can hear everybody outside, but they are party hardy tonight. And what? That's strange. I heard missing. Oh, sorry. That's strange. I heard missing. They met when Katie was 12. Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. So dreams, apparently, they knew of each other when they were 12. When she was, excuse me, not when they were 12. They're different ages. So when she was 12 years old, she did know Seth. I mean, he knew of her, whatever, I guess from the neighborhood, but it wasn't anything like they're making it out to be. Like, Seth is not a pedo, guys. He's not a chomo. He's not one of those nasty people that does that kind of stuff. It's horrible. Hey, Island, good to see you. Good to see you, girl. Happy New Year. Yeah, he's not that way, guys. And it just goes to show, like, that was the narrative that was being pushed. It was a false narrative. And Yeda had the guts to come up and be like, no, actually, Grandpa Don gave her permission to marry Seth. And for Seth to marry her, it's a traditional way or an old-fashioned way to be respectful of a woman's parents. But since Katie's parents weren't really around because Grandpa Don was the caregiver, Katie was in the position where that was who was available. And he was not just like, she makes it a point to tell us that it's not just like, he doesn't take it lightly. It's not like, oh, he asked and he's like, oh yeah, sure. You know, so I find her to be credible. You know, I value what you guys think. I just think that it's been going on for so long. And when you have another side of the family coming forward and saying that, I think it's kind of, especially one out of how many that are going to do that. And then we didn't hear anybody coming out and saying anything to the contrary. So I'm just going to put it that out there. It's my opinion that I feel like I can trust probably a good 90% of what Yeda is saying. I find it to be pretty credible. She seems like a nice lady. So that's, you know, she doesn't seem like she's lied or there wasn't inconsistencies, and we'll watch the rest of what she has to say. But there wasn't any inconsistencies that I can find. And if you guys find some, let me know. And couponing says Blue Star moms are one family member is serving in the military. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I just leave a comment up there sometimes. I forget to click it off. So I'm sorry, guys. And Kaika, good to see you. Happy New Year from Australia. Happy New Year. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and watch the next one. Give me one moment here.
I think when she first got there, I think because it was, and I don't want to go into, you know, what happened,
Right.
and, you know.
Yeah, we're not going to touch that subject.
No, and it has nothing to do with this. But she was a cute little girl. Just, even at, you know, 8, 9 years old, she was just a cute little strawberry blonde. She was, and kind of, oh, she was headstrong. Don't get me wrong, headstrong. It's a Rosenbaum trait, I will tell you that much.
Gotcha.
8 out of 10 of them headstrong. But she was just the cutest thing, you know, even for an 8, 9-year-old. You know, she was spoiled. I don't think there was ever anything she asked for that she didn't get. And knew how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But we would, like I said, we would get updates and stuff, and occasionally, you know, Aunt Suzanne or somebody would say, well, you know, she wants this, and we'll make sure she gets it. But No, they couldn't say no.
Right.
It was, everybody, you would catch people say, oh, poor Katie,
Mm-hmm.
but, she knew it. She always, as she got older, she knew what she wanted, and she wasn't going to, she's just going to do what she wants. She graduated very well. From what I understand, she was a great cook, but, she wasn't a bonding person, except for now with her grandpa, my Uncle Don, and my Aunt Suzanne, and like her uncle and aunt in North Carolina. And I'm not going to name any names, but she was very close to them. There was a little thing that happened right about the time her and Seth got married that was going on, another rift in the family, but which is why I never met Seth, because he did not come to my to my Uncle Don's funeral, but they were still married.
That's when she brought Sebastian, correct?
Yes. He was a cute little smiley thing, but not the kind that would come up and go to strangers. But he knew like my aunt, and he knew Francis, which kind of shocked me. But so the people that he did know, he would go with them and we would be introduced. And, I was only at that particular day, I was only there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but God, he was cute. But there wasn't a lot of mother son kind of, oh, come here, baby. And it wasn't that. It was like, but there was a lot of people coming and going. And I think that was a lot of overstimulation. But, I know he hadn't been diagnosed, but you could tell he was bothered. We're 100 strong, coming and going. This is in their house in Chesapeake, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. That's a lot of people. And, he was like 7.5, maybe 7-ish. This was in May of 2015 when he died. So, yeah, that's a lot of stimulation for a young kid, especially when they didn't know fully what was going on. I don't think he had been fully diagnosed at that point.
Now, your family had been doxxed. A lot
Still
of
being.
still being doxxed, and there were a lot of incorrect allegations that had come out about your family early on in this case. Am I correct on that?
Yes. Well, there were some people.
It kind of goes into the other stuff, so I was
Yeah,
unsure.
it does. Well, there were some people that, when the picture of Grandfather Mountain came out, there was some people in a particular group that started doxing all of the women in the Rosenbaum family, including Katie's biological mother, and even my mother, who was 77 and was in intensive care, who had just had a heart attack, who looked nothing like this woman on Grandfather Mountain. Her aunt in North Carolina, my cousin in another part of North Carolina. I mean, they were pulling private photos. They were posting addresses, putting them on this fake. Well, she looks like her. And they would literally, at one point, they went to the mother's house, some of these people that lived in that area, and police had to be called.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got the message. And like I said, I will fight tooth and nail for my family if we are being wronged. And I sent a private message to the administrator and notified them that this was private and not for public dissemination. This is a cease and desist. Look, you can say what you want to on the investigation, but our family has nothing to do with it. What you find out about Chris and Katie or Seth, or if you find out anything about Sebastian, help yourself, but stop with this. And after my post, it started all over again.
There were rumors going around that it's possible that someone in your family is holding Sebastian either against his will, willingly, but is helping, the mom, hide Sebastian from Seth. Do you know anybody in your family that has Sebastian or is hiding Sebastian in any way?
No, I do not. And if I did know, I would be the first to call the FBI or dog. And if I ever caught wind of it, I would be the first to call.
Right.
Because he needs to be back. But
Absolutely. Now, Francis was one, for a fact Sebastian is not with Francis. Am I correct about that? Or
well, I know for a fact he was not there in June. Because there was somebody else there in June and he was not there in June. So, and I do not believe for 1 second. Well, you know what? I do not know for a fact, and I'm not going to say I know for a fact because I don't. Do I think he would be there? No, because Suzanne lives there, and she wouldn't be so desperate to find him. She misses her great grandson.
Right.
Well, I know after this conversation, everybody's going to be doing all kinds of searches and everything because I've seen what gets done. Nobody's family is perfect. My family is far from perfect. And, search what you want, say what you want. We grew up loving each other. And like all families, you have tiffs, you walk away, you come back, you do your thing. And there are some bad elements in our family. There are some wonderful elements in our family. But no matter what, no matter how distant we are, we will come together if something is wrong. I will say this too. This is the quietest my family has ever been about anything.
Okay, guys. So again, Yeda says that they're awfully quiet. She's the only one that's come out. I noticed some really good comments from you guys. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that Sebastian was allowed to be around Katie's mother, Frances Rosenbaum, because she is a registered SO. And so she did some very horrific things in her lifetime to gain that status of a registered SO. And so Show Poodle says, did y'all catch where Yeda said that Sebastian knew F and Yeda found that strange, allegedly? Yes, I allegedly did hear that. And Dream says, convicted of particularly severe sex crime, usually involving a minor, you choose life, probation. Yeah, and you have to register and you're a red dot for the rest of your life, and rightfully so. Trishy says, show poodles, I've heard that. And Star says, Kaika, supposedly my maternal grandmother was like that. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to post that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, awesome. That's great. I'm having a great show tonight, guys. I was muted for the first bit, and Trishy says, what the heck? The recidivism rates are like close to 100%. Oh yeah, even when chemically and physically castrated, these people will reoffend, and yeah, they're the most disgusting people. I mean, I don't know. Allegedly, in my opinion, they're the most disgusting people. Research has shown that whenever they try to detour these monsters from doing that through both of the means I mentioned, it still doesn't help. So, but lots to unpack here. I kind of made some notes because Yeda gives a lot of information, in my opinion. Yes, Trishy, I don't know. I mean, just as a mother, yeah, we need to put them on a separate island someplace and never allow them around kids. Like, I'm sorry, most of the time, if somebody messes up, I don't think they deserve to lose access to their loved ones. But in that case, absolutely. And don't ever let kids around them. You should get in trouble if the kids are around them. Like both people, whoever allowed it and whoever is the red dot. And hey, Justice Jane, good to see you. Feliz Año Nuevo to you as well. And Show Poodle says my state just passed chemical cast in laws. Good, they should, but they don't. It doesn't matter. They need to put them in a hole someplace. Let them do it to each other. Dream says, allegedly, in my opinion. And Dreams says exactly lifetime to death penalty is what we have been working on, but many feel, the DP is harsh. Yeah. I mean, I think the DP is harsh. I think we should let them live on this earth, on this planet, in a prison, and give them 3, hots and a cot and let them live in there, but don't let them be in the general public anymore. That's just my opinion. But DP, I mean, I do think it's harsh for anybody. I'm not the Lord, so I don't make those decisions. But those guys, they just need to be watched really closely. And I thought it was very strange that Sebastian knew Francis, allegedly. And So I just want to say hi too. I made a little list of people coming in. So Couponing, Trishy, Kathy, Maui, good to see you all. And let's see. So Katie was a very coddled person. Yeda says that she was very coddled, to her knowledge, that Katie got what she wanted, kind of knew she was cute. Yeda says that she remembers Katie very fondly when she first met her, that she was very cute and a strawberry blonde and just kind of adorable, and she just kind of got whatever she wanted. And so little kids are like that. That's just kind of, I don't see any malice in like a little kid being that way. However, I do notice Katie's kind of entitlement, and I don't know, sometimes kids develop that when they're little, but sometimes they are so cute that it's not their fault, because people do give them whatever, you know what I mean? So there's that. And let's see here. There was a riff in the family. She explains a riff in the family. Oh my goodness. Aw. Star, you. Thank you, Star. From the Mod Squad, straight from the Mod Squad. Hey, Path. How are you, the Path? Good to see you, and Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. She says, get it together, woman. Thank you for your informative episodes. May the new year be as sweet, as wonderful as you are. Oh my gosh. Oh, Star. I've had today's been so tough. I've been crying today, and I'll tell you what, you're awesome. I need to get my shit together. Okay. So basically I got it all written down here, Star, in this really sloppy handwriting chicken scratch. Okay. So basically, Aunt Suzanne and Grandpa Don doted on Katie. They loved her. They thought she was adorable. They wanted to give her whatever she wanted. They also felt bad for what had happened to her before. And we are not going to go into that, guys. Please don't talk about it in the comments, or we'll have to whack a troll, even though you're not a troll for asking about that. But, it's just kind of one of those things where we don't want to talk about somebody's trauma that way. That is very personal, and I don't want to get into it, because Katie had voiced that she really didn't want anybody doing that, and I respect that. So with that being said, she never had a chance to meet Chris or Seth, and the reason being is because there was that riff in the family, but then Katie came back for Grandpa Don's or Yeda's Uncle Don's funeral, and they kind of reunited then. But at that point in time, Sebastian did know Francis Rosenbaum, the registered SO, and she said that she noticed that Sebastian and his mother didn't have kind of a nurturing relationship, which is kind of typical with mothers. We're nurturing. That's a part of our character, part of our DNA, I guess. Most of us, it's like we're nurturing. She said she didn't get that vibe from Katie. That was her opinion, and that was at that time. It seems like Sebastian was a little guy. Sounds like back then, too young to kind of be treated you know, because at some point you do kind of, you know, you can't always treat your kids like they're your baby, right? But at that age, I would think that you would. And let's see, doxing. So the family, the Rosenbaums, got doxed really, really bad, you guys. I just want to let you know that I think doxing is completely evil. And if you dox somebody, like, I don't want that karma. I'm sorry, you're going to get that karma back someday. I would never want that karma. I would not want somebody to do that to me. Like posting my address and my freaking phone number all over the internet. That's terrible. Nobody wants that done to them. I don't know. And so she said that she basically, it was really upsetting to her, but then even especially after she posted this post on Facebook, she got it like again, it like all started up again, people digging. People were digging into this around the time of Grandfather Mountain. Her mother was in the hospital, and people were like doxing her. And so yeah, please don't dox anybody. That's really bad. Nobody wants that, you know. So she says that she won't, let me rephrase this. She says that she doesn't like the fact that people think that they're hiding him, but then she goes around and says that she really doesn't know for sure if they're not hiding him, right? So she's kind of torn. I can see that she's torn. One minute she's like, no, we're not hiding him. Nobody in the family would do that. But then she starts thinking, oh, well, maybe he is. And I think it more or less, and this is just my opinion, has to do with the fact that we don't know either way. And so she doesn't want to say either way, but of course, goes back to this dichotomy that she's going through, and this kind of double-edged sword that it's like, if I say something, it's going to be bad. If I don't say anything, it's going to be bad. It's kind of, you know, I feel sorry for Yeda because she's really brave for coming forward, but she's, you know, they've gotten docs, they've gotten probably threats and all that crazy stuff that happens, that comes along with that. Because why would anybody want your address unless they were going to harass you and be crazy? That's crazy. So anyway, she's terrified that somebody might have Sebastian, in my opinion, in a small way. So that's why she's saying no. But then she's saying, you know, because it's the same thing with Katie. It's like, oh, well, maybe she's not guilty, but maybe she is. And I need to tell what I know about it. So I feel like it's very tough for her. And she says that she doesn't think so, though, in the same way, because Frances is basically, she misses her grandson. Frances misses her grandson, she says. So, you know, it's a very tough situation for Yeda to be in. And that's why I say she's so brave for coming forward and just letting, you know, letting her have her voice, letting her, and then also telling what she feels is the truth. Because I think maybe even though she cried a lot after she did it, it was probably a load off of her shoulders after she was able to come out and say it. And then hopefully it was cathartic for her to be on with BHB. Yeah, Forever Nikki's mom, it is so horrible, and they don't deserve it at all. Like, nobody deserves to be doxxed like that. I don't care what has happened. The family doesn't have anything to do with it. If they did, I think that law enforcement, but you know, okay, here's the bad thing about this. Law enforcement in this case has kind of dropped the ball a few times, so it's very hard to believe that they've, you know, done anything, especially when they haven't, they didn't treat it like a crime scene like they should have to begin with, in my opinion. And it's just, you know, are they leaving every stone unturned? I think that's the big question. I think that's why people have a hard time and they're wondering if we should believe it. And Kaika says that's why she was so, I'm not sure what that word is, and degrading of Sebastian's looks, always insulting him and calling him names. Master manipulator KP always got away and advertised for her looks being cute, Katie. Yeah, I mean, you know, I do. Okay, so Yeda says that she is a master manipulator. She says this, right? And like I said, a part of me wants to say, okay, well, Katie was still young back then, and when Yada did know her on a personal level. So I will say that part. I will say that. I think that it's hard to judge like a young person because we all change as we get older as well. So we grow, right? So I will say that. But yeah, it's very clear that there may be some entitlement issues there. And then as we get to know Katie, and the more, like you said, Kaika, the more that she says these things, the more it makes us think that she can be like a really big brat, right? And be real bratty. And maybe if she doesn't get her way, she's acts like a brat, in my opinion. Bloody spell check. You're hilarious. That's hilarious. And Star agrees. She says, I think the Proudfoot family believes very much in appearance and looking a certain way in public. Absolutely. So sometimes, especially like if you think about public image and somebody that has a lot of pull in, and in this case, I believe there is an element of that in this case where especially the Flying Monkey Socks, they have pull. Mom's a realtor. Hey, Holly S., good to see you. Good to see you. And so they know a lot of people. When you're a realtor, you end up knowing a lot of people in town, and that just comes with the territory. You end up helping a lot of people buy and sell their homes, and you actually network a lot. So you'll go to luncheons and things like that. I was a realtor, so I know how it goes. You have to kind of rub elbows with people and make contacts so you can get more clients. And Flying Monkey Socks, Forever Nikki's mom. So yeah, guys. I mean, it's definitely an element that is there in this case. I really do believe that. I believe that Yada was just doing the best that she can with what she believes, and I think that she was staying true to herself. And so we have to stay true to ourselves on things. Because it was keeping her up at night, right? She's praying over it. It's something that she put a lot of thought in, so the path. Yeah, they definitely act like trolls. I mean, I don't know. And then also, I said it's not nice to call somebody and tell them they're gonna burn in hell. I'm obviously I'm against that. We just talked about the doxing and stuff like that. And with Proudfoot's mom being a realtor, yeah, I get that. She's gonna have a public number out there, so you make your number very public. You put it on your business cards and whatnot. But so I don't agree with people calling her and telling her this, but her response to it was very frightening to me. I mean, but Mama Bauer Socks is kind of creepy. Like, I'm not going to lie. She was like, basically she didn't deny the fact that she's going to burn in hell, but she just told the other person they were going to burn in hell too. So allegedly it was on her Facebook and I read it last night. So, you guys, please feel free to go back and watch it. But that was the general gist of it. And so, because if somebody told me to burn in hell, I'd be like, well, I'm Catholic. I believe in the Lord. So, and yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know. I would never be like, well, you're going there too. You got to spot yourself. Like, whoo, it was chilling. She's tough. She's a tough cookie. Kaika says, oh, no. Well, it's a stimulant. It's a Starbucks, like double shot. It's the one, I couldn't find like the really bad one. So I got the light cream one, but the really bad one is the salted caramel one that I'm like, oh, because I usually get this one. Gorilla stinky socks. I mean, I was kind of appalled, guys. I was kind of appalled. I can't show the can or I would. It's just like, it's the one with the light blue logo on it or whatever. But either way, let's see. I think I could probably just step outside my door and get drunk tonight because people are like partying hard out there. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but I hope not. Lil Red, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for your email yesterday. That was awesome. Or the day before, probably. Oh, good Lord. But either way. Hi, Betty H. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, together we stand, divided we fall. I agree, Betty. I think we need to come together for Sebastian for sure. For sure, for sure. Allegedly. Okay, so let's go on and watch the next clip. We are on number 3, guys. We're on number 3.
I think when she first got there, I think because it was, and I don't want to go into, what happened,
Right.
and,
Yeah, we're not going to touch that subject.
no, and it has nothing to do with this. But she was a cute, cute little girl. Just even at 8, 9 years old, she was just a cute little strawberry blonde. She was, and I can't figure it out. I mean, honestly, when I did that post, I was expecting to get bombarded. What are you doing? Why are you, or even something. I've not heard a peep.
Right.
And I know they're on Facebook. I know they're seeing this. Some of them could be in the chat.
Right.
But my parents have not heard anything. I have not heard anything. And I'm honestly shocked because I am not here to hate anybody. I am here for people to focus on finding Sebastian. Stop hating everybody. Stop this mess. There's too much clutter in all of this. There's a little boy, whether he be alive or not, who deserves to be in the right place. And he is a part of my blood. And that's what matters to me. And that's what should matter to everyone with the same last name I have.
Grandbaby dreams.
But
Happy New
I'm
Year.
not seeing it from the mother. And that's so disheartening because and I wish I could say I did. I truly, I've tried, I've prayed. And so many lies online. Just, oh.
Have you seen her behave this way ever in the past?
The fake tears. Yeah. She is what I see as someone on a mission. Get what I want, no matter what. And in my opinion, and that's what I recognize. And I see hate, which is scary. And I don't like that. And I can see it. I have seen, I've seen photos of her that were shared with, from Don and Suzanne and from aunts and uncles of her, just so happy and just super beautiful. And that's not her.
Because I saw some photos of her that Seth had shown me, and wow, what a night and day difference.
That is not her.
Yeah.
But
So
she is not defenseless, and she is not the controlling type. This whole thing is twisted.
So the facade of her, there's a lot of people that believe that she's kind of this, a battered wife that doesn't speak for herself, is kind of, the impression many people have expressed.
I'm not believing that. She is a strong person. Do I believe she has after effects or probably some issues from Years ago, absolutely. Who wouldn't? But I don't think there are issues in the way of, I think there are more issues of temper. I guess the word is manipulative.
Gotcha.
I'll just leave that.
Now,
No family called us. No one in the family called us. And she just mentioned it. I'm like, who? And then she sent it in to my mom, and I told her, Dan must have posted something. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, nobody told us.
Mhm.
And that's when I started researching it. And I was like, oh, why did nobody say anything? Why is this so private?
Right.
No, we were not. It was not. And you, like I said, normally when something happens in this family, you know, somebody has their home phone in one hand and their cell phone in the other. And it's like a game of, what is that pillow talk or whatever, where it's like going through the whole chain.
Mm-hmm.
No, phones didn't ring.
When did you learn about it from the aunt? Was it days, weeks, months?
It was about a month. It was after the first couple of interviews, and that's I had to go back and watch them because I had been chatting with her. It was probably mid-March.
Mm-hmm.
No, late March, because we were talking
Wow.
about some events that go on here where I live, and me possibly taking a trip down there. It was late March, yeah.
So a whole half of the family was completely in the dark about a missing relative for well
Yeah.
over a month to well over a month.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how the aunt heard about it? Was it through another family member, or did they just
Well, she's
learn
close.
about it?
She's the one that's very close to her. No, I think she knew the whole time, but it wasn't advertised.
Got it.
And that's when I
Gotcha.
immediately started getting the messages about being doxxed and stuff as well. It was like a week or two later. I can't
Gotcha.
remember. No, it was
Wow.
in May, the first week of May, when I think that picture came out late April. And it
Mm-hmm.
was the first week of May when, oh Lord, because my mom had been in the hospital. My mom is fine. Thank you. We almost lost her. She spent several days in CCU and ICU, and it was a mess, but she is home fine and doing well.
Okay, guys. So they almost lost mom and they're being doxxed. I mean, I know I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse there, but holy cow. And then, so the family never objected to this interview. Truth for us, it's very good to see you. I agree. If they don't find Sebastian, I hope there's answers and convictions. Really quick, guys, just to let you know, I looked it up the other day, and in Tennessee, they can convict without having a body. They do need to have a lot of circumstantial evidence, of course, to convince a jury. But in Tennessee, that is not one of the states that they need a body to prosecute, convict. And there is an 80% rate. It's about 80% of cases without a body do turn into convictions. So just a little food for thought. So the family didn't object to this interview. They didn't say anything. They were super quiet. And she says that usually their family is like, you know, a big family. They are pretty close, where they, you know, you kind of hear it through the grapevine. People are texting, people are calling each other. They are very vocal about most subjects, but this was not one of them. And so she reiterates that again. I do feel like Yada has more feelings for Sebastian. She showed a lot of care for him. She was definitely she was definitely more thoughtful watching all of the interviews. She isn't the type of person that seems to make snap judgments. She's very analytical and seems to think things out. That's just my opinion of Yada. Yeah, and Kaika, you're right. So, you know, she calls Katie things like not defenseless. She said that she is showing a temper, that she's manipulative. And so that's what she's seeing from Katie. She says that it's not the Katie that she knew. She said that not the one that she's seeing right now. It's someone who is acting as if she may be a battered wife, but she's not one. In Yeda's opinion, she doesn't feel like she is a battered wife. She says this whole thing is twisted. And I would have to agree. It's a very twisted tale of, you know, lies. It's, you know, deception at every corner, betrayal of the, you know, of the utmost kind. I mean, this is Sebastian's mother. If this did occur where, you know, one of the family members had something in some kind of involvement in it, then it's absolutely the worst type of betrayal. Veronica, good to see you. Happy New Year. Veronica says Sebastian never needs to be with his mother again, with Chris nor her son. If alive, he will never love her again. Her and Chris need to be in prison the rest of their lives. Yeah, Veronica, I agree. I agree. The only thing is that I think Sebastian's heart is so sweet and kind, and I don't think that he will ever not love his mom. I think that if Sebastian is found, I think that he's going to be one. He would want to be reunited with both of his parents. I think that he did fear Chris, but I don't. Again, I think his heart is so good that he would love Mr. Chris even though. So that's my opinion, but thank you for sharing yours. And Kaika says CP and KP. I was just about to ask about the success rate, Star says. Star. Kaika says KP and CP thought everyone would have forgotten over a week and a month, or yeah, I agree about him being missing. They were hoping. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that they really didn't think that this was going to gain the momentum it did, especially at the 6-month mark. We have in walks Dog the Bounty Hunter. We have Nick the Hat that joined in from Dog's team. We also had Tony step it up a lot. So shout out to Tony. I really think you're being a great friend to Seth. And I said that last night on my live too. So yeah, we have people stepping up and stepping in, and I think it's wonderful, the momentum that we've gained. This case is not a cold case. This is not a cold case. This case is hot. So thank God for that. And oh, Shar, great. I'm great to see that you have a membership. Welcome, welcome. I guess we're kind of called the Freedom Family. I kind of like Charlie's Angels. I thought that was really cute since it's a lot of ladies in here. As long as our guys, Chief and Joseph, don't mind too much. So sad. So Silver Violet Flame, nice to see you. And she says, so sad for Sebastian to hear this. Yeah, absolutely. It's very sad. It's very sad. Loving Life 67. Nice to see you, sweetheart. I'm glad to see you. You've always been a good supporter. Truth for Us says school teacher conference mentioned not the Katie you see on TV. She was loud. Okay, Truth for Us. That is a great point. So when Justin showed when Justin talked about the email that he received from the teachers at school, for one of the teachers, and then I think there was another account from a different teacher in there. But either way, the teachers are saying that when they met with Katie and Chris, that they were blaming Seth for all of the problems, right? So that's the worst thing, I think, is blaming someone else for your problems, especially when you have custody of the child 5 days a week and the other parent has every other weekend. So basically some weeks you have the whole week. And so it's kind of far-fetched for me to think about that. And I'm sure the teachers were taken back by that, especially because they seem to have blamed Sebastian too. So I guess it's just all Sebastian and Seth's fault and not their fault, who they were around him the most. It's like we were talking about yesterday. Hey, Joseph, good to see you. Happy New Year. Yeah, let's make it a great new year. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just hard to believe. It's like we were talking about before when, your little kid says like, oh shit, you know, they say that, and it's it's in context. So somebody in the family that says it a lot has to say it, or they said it once and the kid repeated it. You know, you can't blame the kid when they say a phrase that you say typically. You can't blame the other parent when they're at your house more, you know, and then, you know, maybe if they heard it over the weekend, they come home Monday or Sunday night and oh shit, and then you call your ex and you're like, you know what the kid said today? But, you know, again, it's kind of, that's a funny scenario. Either way, I don't think that, I think the moral of the story here is that Katie is just as mean as Mr. Chris can be. And I think that has come out lately, and there is some evidence to back that up, allegedly, in my opinion. And Lil Red says, sadly, there is no forensics to go with their circumstantial case unless they saw KP and CP on the cameras and the footage the public has not seen. I mean, Lil Red, I can agree with that. I think that there needs to be some solid circumstantial evidence. However, the court of public opinion has really always been that Chris and Katie have something to do with it just because of their words and actions. If they were to have searched, if they were to have shown up to the vigils, hell, if they would have had their own vigil, I don't blame them if there was a tumultuous situation not to go to the vigil that Seth was having. I completely understand that. That's fine. But at the very least, have your own vigil for your son. So, you know, it's based on their actions. And Megan Els, good to see you. Good to see you. Happy New Year. And so that's, for me, that's very telling that they didn't do any of those things. And Yeda mentions it too. Now, I would hate it if Katie was being ABUSE'd. I would hate that. So I don't wish that upon anyone. And if she is, I hope she gets the help that she needs. I don't mean that in any way to be malicious or to not believe someone who has that happening to them. Because at the end of the day, it's not right. It should never happen. I do believe that Chris is a control freak, but I think that they're kind of very equally yoked. Meaning that they are a lot alike, and it seems like they are thick as thieves, in my opinion. Thank you, Star. Thank you so much for writing out Sebastian's story there in a nutshell and his description. I appreciate it. Hey, Gracie, you didn't get a notification, girl? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Sometimes they don't send them out. YouTube can be, you know, a little stinker. They're still troublemaking, causing trouble for the case, working for the Proud Feet. One of them rank up Nick Perel, officer calling. Oh, rang up his, oh, yeah, I know, Kaika, yeah. They, okay, so there's been like a lot, oh, sorry guys, I sit on my foot sometimes. So there's been a lot of back and forth, maybe tit for tat when it comes to both sides. You have SF Investigates now, who is putting out information. Yeah, Gracie, sometimes circumstantial evidence is all you need. I'm hoping that there is enough. At the very least, they need to get those two on some ABUSE neglect charges with the 5 CPS reports at the very, very least. I don't know what they're waiting on, but that's not gonna, that would never fall into the case for Sebastian. I mean, unless that's what they think that they're going to be building it off of, which is a very strong possibility. So maybe that's why, but you know, you only get one bite of the apple. You know, there is no double jeopardy. So you got to make sure it counts. You know, you can't screw it up. And if they get a good enough defense attorney, we all saw what happened with Casey Anthony and Jose Baez and OJ. So, and his all-star defense team, you know, I mean, they have the means to afford, especially within a high profile case like this. Some devil will take them on, in my opinion. And Megan L says, Gracie's, I didn't either. Oh, you didn't get didn't get one for Terry either. Oh, dang. I got one for Terry. I was late. I was late, like very, very late. Wanda Dupree, welcome in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, guys, let's just get into this next clip, okay? Let's see. Waiting, oh, a longer sentence. Starts as a longer sentence, waiting for one of them to cave and lead LE to Sebastian's whereabouts. Yes, I think eventually someone is going to crack and we are going to see some justice, I hope. Lil Red says, I spent years as a paralegal in the district attorney's office in a court of law, and the jurors cannot use, I think they did it, or they did not look for him. You can't use that as circumstantial evidence. Yeah, can't prosecute with that. I think they did it, etc. is why I'm saying, yeah, absolutely. They cannot just go off of that, right? And a lot of things are going to be hearsay. Unfortunately, also a strong possibility is suppression of evidence, right? So certain things, if it wasn't handled properly, it could be suppressed. Some of the things, as we saw, there was a lot of unfair treatment in the civil court there when it came to BHB and the ROs, in my opinion. And so we don't really know what could happen or what the judge will suppress and what he won't. Another thing is that CP claimed, and so did his lawyer, that the statements that he made on Cluminati's channel about running over pedestrians and that he wouldn't get in trouble for running over a pedestrian, and he said it in that really creepy, like, sinister voice of his, that really deep one that he used when he was yelling at Heather P.I. Yeah, so he said that it wasn't him, and they couldn't prove it was him because it was just a little bubble, and the judge threw that evidence out. Like, it's like what I'm on right now. If I go like this, right? This is Chris, but he has nothing. It's not his picture. It's not nothing. So there's that. You know, cunning and sly. Hey Thor, good to see you. Chris Proudfoot is an American hero, and he's more of a dad than Seth ever could be. Okie dokie. Well, I would disagree with that, Thor, and I already know that you're a troll. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and delete your comment. And if you want to keep it up, we'll give you a juice box and a chair and a crayon, and you can sit in timeout. All right, guys, let's watch. Oh boy. I think we are on number 5.
Well, first I went onto Facebook, and at that time, there really wasn't a whole lot, but there was some. So then I started Googling it, and I started looking. It kept sending me to YouTube. Every channel, because I subscribed to all of them, and I was listening to every one of them, and I was like, "What is this mess?" What? And then I just turned them all off, and I found the interviews, and I started with the first one. I watched the Duchess one. That's the first one I watched. My thoughts on all of them, initially my first thought was, why is he talking so much? And a couple of times he blurted, like, no, we would have heard that, or we would have, and I'm like, he said, I thought he wasn't there. And I had to keep rewinding, and I'm like, okay, let me go on to the next one. And now we're going to the green shirt, the rocking back and forth, and the no tears. And I'm like, and also the first change of the chain of events. And I caught that immediately, and I'm like, wait a second. And then I went back to the first, and I'm like, okay, this is a child with a chromosome disorder who's just spent this crazy day, and you go in there to wake him up early, but he's gone to dinner. You're talking about how he doesn't like to be clean. He likes to be clean, or he doesn't clean himself or whatever. And he's a 15-year-old boy. You never mentioned a bath. You never mentioned medication. You just told him to go to bed. So you send him to school dirty, and wait, okay, let's go to the next interview. And then it changed. Well, I had a son that needed medication, and overstimulation during the day and bathing had to be done at night, because in the morning that was an impossibility. And after a weekend, and especially a day like that, that would be a necessity, because 15-year-old boys sweat a lot and they do not smell pretty.
And going
That's
and
not
taking a
enough time to
shower.
have breakfast, take a bath, and
Right. I mean, boys just don't do that. I know.
no, they don't. But I mean, I'm just thinking these things as a mother when my son was 15 who had some issues. And I'm thinking, okay. And in one interview that she had mentioned that when he's not home, the dogs sleep with her. And then that changed completely. And I'm like writing these things down. I'm like, this is not jiving. I'm like, no, I'm not going to believe this. I'm not going there. I refuse. But he still kept controlling everything, because I wanted to help. I wanted him found. I wanted him found for my Aunt Suzanne. I wanted him found for Katie. And then so I was digging. I'm like, okay, what can I find out that would help them? So I started with the interviews, like I said. And then the Nancy Grace one, and I'm like, okay, I can't believe this. And my stomach just dropped. I'm like, now I want him found for my Aunt Suzanne and his dad, because this man keeps controlling this whole interview, and it is impossible to keep up with a lie. She's having trouble keeping up with her story, so he's controlling this whole narrative. And then, everything just he would call. I watched one thing where he called, I can't remember what channel it is, and I'm not going to mention any channels, pretending to be Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade. And like, what kind of person who's looking for their stepson does that? And then calling, and I heard him on one channel where he said something about, screaming about the PI and threatening Seth's life over something that the PI did not release. It was another channel that released it about Katie's childhood, which I felt was not right. Nobody had any business releasing that. That was her personal childhood, and that just wasn't right. That wasn't nice. It wasn't cool. Details should not be released. That was not right.
Right.
To hold up pictures, and no, that was so wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. That's wrong. To dig that up and show it right on the screen, that's below low. So then I felt I had reached the point where I'm going to do all I can, because I want to help my Aunt Suzanne find her great-grandson. And I just kept hearing these interviews, and I would see these searches, and then I would see everybody bashing Seth. And I would never hear Katie come out and say anything different, because I knew things were different back then. But she would never step up to the plate. And I hear these channels and people saying, you should be working together. I don't think it's Seth not working with them. I don't think they've ever, I think they cut him off. My ex-husband and I, with our 2 children, we each had spouses at the time that just didn't like the fact if we ever talked together. But if anything happened to our children, you can bet we would have been in the same room 24/7. Find him, find her. There would have been no lack of communication. When I was listening, I'd listen to all of these. Now, some of them I just couldn't stand to listen to. It just got to the point. There were a few that I just couldn't tolerate for more than 5 minutes, and I'd turn it off. And I'm like, I cannot listen to this. I would go to bed at night and just pray, let me get through another day. And then I'd do some more research, and I'd watch some more interviews. People would call in a sighting, and I think it was May 2nd, somebody called in a sighting, and immediately Chris would call in and say, I heard somebody just called and said they had a sighting, and the lady was being very politeful. And he said, well, let me give you the other end of the story. I'm Chris Proudfoot, and he was automatically debunking the sighting. Who does that? Who does that? How do you know it wasn't a sighting? This was like in Georgia, May 2nd, and I wonder, are they just sitting there watching all of these channels? And I've heard him a few times say some of the most horrible things.
Yeah.
And she doesn't speak. And the final thing for me was seeing her in court. The look on her face. I cried. That look on her face looked like somebody who was just so self-satisfied. Just the look of, huh. I mean, at one point, even Chris turned back to her to say something, and she just didn't even look at him, and she said something to him, and he even looked like a puppy. And I thought, oh my gosh, she just looks like she is so proud of herself and the queen, and she is right where she wants to be. And it bothered me so much. And all of these channels were live casting it and just drooling over, you going to jail or whatever. And I'm like, what is going on? What I want more than anything, and I can't see the chat. I don't know what anybody's saying. Quite honestly, that doesn't bother me. What I want is for this stuff to stop and for people to light everything up green and find this boy alive, not alive, bring some closure, or bring that boy home to his dad, to his family, to his grandmother. I mean, his great grandmother. He deserves it.
Right.
And quit twisting words, quit manipulating words.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Sebastian deserves it. And Forever Nikki's mom says everything on this channel is allegedly and in my opinion. Thank you. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. I appreciate that. So Yeda finds out about, Yeda and most of the family find out about Sebastian being missing toward late March. And Yeda starts listening to coverage on YouTube, and she says, "What is this mess?" And I don't blame her. If that was my family, I'd be like, oh my God, what is this mess? Like it would be absolutely mortifying and absolutely horrifying, terrifying that my little family member was out there missing. And I'm watching this YouTube coverage, and it's like a whole shit show, right? And so she starts watching the interviews, and she says she starts with Duchess. Now, a lot of people thought the first interview was, including myself, thought the first interview was with the local news affiliate, but it wasn't. It was with Duchess for the Missing. And so that is where she starts out. She starts out with that. And let's see. She talks about how she noticed that Sebastian did not take a shower or bathe the night before school. Having that very long day, we went over this yesterday. It is a very long day for a boy, especially. And, not to single out little boys, but they are stinky. I had a little brother, so I know that, like, their gym socks are stinky, and then, like, they're just, you got to remind them to shower, right? Sometimes, and let them know they have to wash well and everything. Excuse me. But that, with that being said, so she says that there's not enough time in the morning. I couldn't agree more. An hour in the morning, it's crazy. Thank you so much, Star, for gifting that membership too. Thank you so much. And please, thanks, Star, if you get the membership, please thank her. And so I agree. It feels really, really rushed. I mean, especially after a long day and all of that, I would think that he would be a little bit groggy. I think it'd be a good wind down to either take a bath or a shower, just to kind of relax and get ready for bed. But that was never mentioned. And so she thought it was very odd. She said that Chris was controlling everything, and she said he just kept on talking and talking. And like many of us, I think it was probably like, hey, you weren't even there, and why are you answering all the questions? How come Katie's not talking for herself? Because the Yeda that, or the Katie that Yada knows, is someone who is a strong individual who will stick up for herself. Now, many times in DV situations, that is taken away from us, right? Our voice is taken. We are less confident. We don't feel good about ourselves. And so, of course, we're not going to speak our mind, right? It just kind of goes with the territory. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. But Yada says no, she doesn't think so. She thinks that there is another reason why Chris is talking for Katie. Now, Yada wanted to help, and so that's why she went back and watched all of these interviews. When BHB asks her, why did you want to go back and watch all the interviews? And she's like, well, because I just wanted to help. I wanted him to be found. I wanted to figure this out, right? So she is really in it to figure out what happened to Sebastian and what's going on, because she wants to help with her family. But she says that after watching the Nancy Grace interview, she couldn't believe what she was seeing, and that she wants him to be found now for her Aunt Suzanne, who misses him terribly, and for Seth. And she says that when she heard the interview when Chris called into Cluminante's channel, and he called in acting like he was Sling Blade, she was not pleased with that at all. She wasn't pleased with the Chloe P.I. interview, and said that Chloe was not the one who released her family's confidential information, that she wasn't the one that released Katie's confidential information either. So she was upset with Katie for never coming to Seth's defense when people were bashing him. She just allowed it. And I believe that she is a liar by omission. That is still lying. Even if you don't tell the whole truth, that means, or come out and debunk things and you just act like you're the victim. I think that is, basically, I mean, that's pretty cowardice. It's pretty crappy of her. She could have at least come out and said, hey, we were 18 when he asked for my hand and we were together. I had a boyfriend before that, and he wasn't trying to marry me when I was 12, kind of a thing. Hey, Minnie, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see. Oh. She goes on to say, finding your kid should be the most important thing. So even though they were in a tumultuous relationship, she feels like they should have all worked together. She feels like this is not Seth's fault. And I have to admit that I agree with her there. I don't think it is Seth's fault. After all, if we remember the vigil that Chris showed up beforehand to get his picture taken, and Katie was not in attendance, they did not go to that vigil. They went to up there, you see Chris and Katie, they're in a motorcycle shop, and they went to the motorcycle shop the day of the vigil. That day, Sebastian was presented an honorary award. Obviously, he wasn't there. Seth received this award by himself, and I don't care whether Sebastian attended one class or 25 classes. He earned the certificate. And for anybody out there, any creators that are saying any different, you guys, I don't know what is wrong with you. You need your head checked, because he worked for that, and they should have been there to receive that award on his behalf, like his father was. So anybody that wants to come in here and say that Mr. Chris is a better father than Seth, bite me. And I mean that, bite me. And so also seeing KP in court, Yada describes her as, quote, so self-satisfied, end quote. She also said that she was very proud of herself, or looked very proud of herself, like she was exactly where she wanted to be. And she also said that she was acting like the queen. And I did get that vibe from Katie. She was like putting on airs. She was dressed very nicely, full makeup, cutting up with Clue and Cletus. I didn't quite see what she saw in terms of her kind of, I think that Chris was kind of dismissive towards Katie, but that's typical for him. So, And just for you 247, I don't know about the unaliving of the preborn children, and I don't really want to speculate on that because I'm just, I'm pro-life. So I just don't want to speculate on that. Hopefully that wasn't the case. Panda Bear's mom, so good to see you. I'm watching Dick Clark's live New Year's Eve. Oh, there's an M80 for you, Star. Did you hear that? Holy cow. Yeah, so that's wonderful, Laura. I'm glad. No, don't be quiet tonight. You talk as much as you'd like, Miss Lady. Talk as much as you'd like. 4th of July starts in May. Yeah, fireworks are legal here in Florida. So, Show Poodle says large type of firecracker, or Star says large firecracker. Oh my goodness. Yeah, their M80s are like real loud. They're a big bang. And Minnie says, I'm waiting for the neighbors behind me to start. Not sure how the puppy's going to react. I'm so surprised. Like, Beagle's laying here sleeping. Like, I wish you guys could see him. He looks like I got him drunk or something. That's funny. All right. Okay, guys. So let's move right along. But just for you, it's really nice to see you and Happy New Year. Betty H. Like I said from day one, this case, money talks and BS walks. I agree, Betty. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. Oh no, Gracie. Margaret, it's so good to see you. Margaret says, and thank you, Margaret, for shouting out the birthdays and the anniversaries. That is so sweet of you. Margaret says, Sebastian Rogers, you are loved by so many, and we are all praying for you to be found, and God is with you and your dad. Oh, Margaret. And Trishy says, yes, hate property taxes, hate taxes, though. Yeah, absolutely. The owners of the Mexican restaurant live behind me, and they're always partying. Minnie? That's hilarious. My neighbors are all like retired, and so like they love to party. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute. Butterfly Kisses. Nice to see you, Butterfly Kisses. I love that song, by the way. I danced with my dad at my wedding to that song. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play the next one. What are we on? Number 6 over here? Yeah, we are. 6. I'm sorry, I got to write these down. I number them in the back here. All right, let's watch.
See, we grew up when we were little. On Fridays, we would be a couple of my aunts and uncles, my Uncle Don and another aunt of mine, my Aunt Betty. They all lived in the same little apartment complex, and all the cousins, aunts and uncles, we'd go there, and my dad and a couple of my uncles, they would play guitar, and we would all run around the neighborhood. That was the fun night out. So, I mean, it was no extravagance. And all the way up, that's how we were.
Does Katie have anything to do with your side of the family anymore?
She does with Aunt Suzanne, and she did go to Aunt Suzanne's wedding. I think that was in 2020 in North Carolina. She did go to that. So yeah, her aunt and uncle and Suzanne, and yeah, she does them, but she doesn't really, I guess because she left and she really doesn't know many of us anymore. I mean, they kind of tucked her away when she went to live with her dad and her aunt. They kind of tucked her away from us. I mean, when she was at Don's funeral, we had to it was like reintroducing ourselves to her. We never forgot about her. It was always, we'd see Uncle Don and Aunt Suzanne. How's Katie doing? How's Katie doing? What's she up to? And we would get updates. Oh, she's graduating. She's going to culinary school. She's doing great. And then, oh, she got married and she's moving to Georgia, or she moved to Georgia. She's getting married. And then we found out, a year and a half later that she had Sebastian, because her uncle and his wife, their daughter is like 3 months older than Sebastian. So they had kids the same year. Silence. Unnervingly silent. And I know they're paying attention to it. Now, I do know my cousin on the east coast of North Carolina. I've seen her name listed on like some Duchess things, but I don't know. I'm not heard a word. No Facebook post, no nothing.
Do you believe she's hiding something based on the behaviors you saw in those interviews?
In my opinion,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think she's hiding a lot. I think that Chris would probably do anything to make sure she's never able to express that all by herself with somebody. He is in control of the narrative at this point. He seems like he will protect her. And I don't think she's going to. Now, if anybody could get through to her, if she was hiding anything, it would be my Aunt Suzanne. Lord knows if my Uncle Don were alive today. I think he's probably rolling in his grave right now, but he would know. But if anybody in this family would know or could find out, it would be probably my Aunt Suzanne. But in my opinion, I think she's hiding a lot. And
Gotcha.
there's a lot to be found out, but I don't think that local law enforcement area is ever going to do that. So, and I don't think Chris will allow it.
Seth, you didn't know him personally when they got together or
No,
married.
I have never met him in
know of
person.
him.
I'm only from the wedding, from him asking permission, but I've never met him. What say I? I guess people have nothing better to do with their lives, but he's not out there smearing the mother of his child. If Sebastian's alive, nobody wants to hear that. And he is getting dragged through the mud over lies. This whole grooming thing blows my mind. When I heard that, I was like, no, that's not true.
Why do you say that?
She had a boyfriend. And this is just sickening. They're going to make just because they got married when she was 18 and moved to Georgia. Nobody knows what was going on at the time when they left. I do. And it's not anything I'm going to divulge because quite honestly, these were terrible things and it's nobody's business. And I am not here to bash or talk about personal situations in her life or his life or anybody's life, because you know what? That's not what this is about. That particular time probably was a very difficult time for Katie, but it wasn't him grooming. And she was over 18, no. And she graduated from Green Run High School. I know that. And was in culinary school and was a chef at a nice fancy restaurant at the oceanfront. So he's not out there bashing her. And what gets me is she's not out there correcting it because it seems like a hate mission. It seems like I'm not done ruining you yet. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. It just seems like it's one thing after the next because there's so much that could be said that she could be saying and we don't hear it. Why she can't work with him, can't we all just get along? For lack of a better phrase, can't we all just get along for the sake of this beautiful little boy? And the only conclusion I can come up with is because there seems to be a total lack of concern on one side, in my opinion. And that's terrifying, only because it's like I said, our family has gone through major rifts, major, some terrible things in the past. We really have. But we usually, we come back together. I would fight tooth and nail for my family. And I wish I was on your show right now fighting tooth and nail for my family. Now, this doxing and making up lies about my family, I will fight tooth and nail for my family. And I don't care what anybody says about me. I am just me. I'm just speaking for me. I wish I could say there's absolutely no way she did anything. And that's what's killing me, is I can't say that.
Okay, guys. So again, Yeda is feeling guilty for coming forward, and I can't say I blame her. I think it's a very tough situation. She talks about how the family comes from humble beginnings, and so they weren't the type of people who had a lot of money, but there was a lot of love, basically. And they used to do things together as a family and get together and just kind of hang out and enjoy each other, it sounds like, from all accounts from Yeda. Now, Aunt Suzanne is still in touch with Katie, so that's about the only person that she knows of that's really actively involved or in touch with Katie. And so, let's see, she said the last time they all saw Katie, she came to Aunt Suzanne's wedding, which was in 2020 in North Carolina. Her cousin, from North Carolina on the East Coast, was the one that told Duchess about the situation, and she asked Duchess for help. And so that was why Katie and Chris went on Duchess to begin with, was because the cousin had reached out and asked for help. And Chris controls the narrative. So Katie has not spoken out to the public since May. And so towards the end of May, that's when Katie came out last. So Chris has been controlling the narrative now that Katie has not been out, because he's, of course, called into a couple different shows himself, and then most recently on Elevated Truth podcast. So, and we did go over that. So if you guys want to go back and watch those, they'd be greatly appreciated. And I think there was some good things in the interview. A lot of it was a lot of the same things, safe subjects like, what's your favorite memory of Sebastian, things like that. But otherwise, it was really good. Definitely go check out Elevated Truth podcast. And Aunt Suzanne is probably the only one, Yeda says, that she thinks would talk to Katie and maybe get some truths out of her. She said Uncle Don is most likely rolling over in his grave, and that he would be the one that would really be able to get the most information out of Katie. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And so Yeda says that she lost trust in LE, which I can't say that I blame her. She says Seth was drugged through the mud because of a bunch of lies, and she said there was no grooming involved. She said Katie was married at 18. She keeps maintaining this. Katie, she said it's very sick in her opinion, because Katie and Seth were married when Katie was 18. She did graduate from high school. She was in culinary arts, and she was a chef at a nice restaurant down in Virginia Beach. And that she and Seth, after they got married when she was 18, moved to Georgia. And Katie, Yeda describes Katie as being on a hate mission, okay? So she says that she could be wrong, but Katie has not corrected any of these lies, and she would like to see them work together. She wants to see them work together, even though they don't like each other. At least, even I think she would have even been happy if they would have been doing their own searches, like I said before, their own vigils, their own searches, things like that. I think that it wouldn't have raised suspicion like it has, in my opinion, because the lack of care and compassion. And she says that too. She says there's a lack of concern, and she says that it is terrifying. And I don't disagree. I think that was really well said. It is terrifying to think that a mother wouldn't want to, at least look for her child, do some sort of searches, at the very least, hand out flyers, print, have the flyers that are printed out, hand those out, at the very least. And let's see what you guys have to say here. Let's see. Good to see you, Della. Good to see you. C. Bellamy, good to see you. And even I personally met you, I would not talk about my hygiene or my child. How many elephants in any of us count when brushing our teeth, breath by breath? What? I don't understand that comment at all. I guess I'm not following. Let's see here. Oh, Gracie, drop your channel, girl. Drop your channel in here. Hey, Hindsight, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hindsight says, Della, that's an interesting question. Allegedly, some family members did post about him being missing as early as February 27th. Yeah, some family members knew about it. Yeda went to Facebook, and she said that she took to Facebook and she saw what was going on. She was very surprised that, she was surprised that none of her family members had come forward and spoke about it. So, I mean, I think that's pretty powerful coming from her. I got change. Burn the money. And Lil Red says, okay. There we go. Let's see. I'm just looking for some good comments here, guys. Lil Red says, did you all hear CP said the nice lady did not know KP, etc.? Oh, that this night. Yeah, he did. So on Elevated Truth podcast, he actually said that Yeda, he said some very rude and hateful things about Yeda. I thought he was going to bust out that evil voice for a second, but he didn't. But he was pretty darn close. And he just basically said that, like, it, Katie, not in these words, but in my opinion, the way he was saying it was just like, Katie doesn't think of Yeda as anything, she's nothing to Katie, kind of thing, which was kind of rude, especially when Yeda was trying to be so kind and just tell the truth. And in my opinion, hey, Susan Kemp, nice to see you. Nice to see you. She says, yes, Lil Red, he didn't have nice things to say. Of course he didn't. I believe Yeda too, Holly. Yes, thank you. Absolutely believe her. And the reason why is because she's not trying to be hateful. Hey, Charles Myers, nice to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's almost midnight, guys. So I'm going to play this next clip, and then I have a little New Year's, a little New Year's video for you all. So let's play the next clip.
I can't say for certain if anybody in my family has them. I do not believe they do. I do not believe anybody would do that. She does have a couple of stepsisters and like 3 stepbrothers, a couple in California. She does have a lot of friends and stuff down in Georgia. Maybe he is somewhere, but he will never be the same little boy. Because if he is somewhere, he's being told a whole lot of stories. And he can't hide forever. Which is why I pray for Seth. I pray for Sebastian. I pray for clarity and for peace. For God's sakes, people, please. This is about Sebastian. This is not about hate. Quit with the hate. All of the YouTubers, just stop. All of this Facebook stuff, just stop. Just look for him.
Yeah.
And I don't, I believe Sumner County Sheriff's Department? Honest opinion? No. I've not seen one shred that makes me believe that they did anything. Where I live in Virginia, that would not have taken. Well, maybe not here. I live in a good old boy town here in Washington County, Virginia. But where I grew up in Virginia Beach, that would not have happened.
You said right where she wants to be. You guys didn't grow up with a whole lot of money, did you?
No. Lord, no. Our parents were born and raised in this little teeny town in Southwest Virginia called Damascus. They migrated to Norfolk, Virginia. We were all born and raised in the Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area. And our parents worked hard for what we got. We had what we needed, not a whole lot of what we wanted. And we had, none of us had money, and we had to work. I started working when I was 16, went to school. I worked at McDonald's, and I was on the field hockey team. So we were we had to earn our own money, but no, we did not grow up with any wealth whatsoever. And
what would you think about her lifestyle now?
Oh Lord, that's something she's not going to leave that. A lifestyle that is like 500 times bigger and better than anything we would have ever imagined as children. More than 500. Way more. The interviews, one interview, it was, I woke up, went in there in his bedroom to wake him up about 6 o'clock. He wasn't there. I called Chris, I can't find him. Within he three-wayed he called Sumner County Sheriff's. Within 3 minutes, the police were lined up down the street. She had checked the closets and stuff, but within 3 minutes, the police were lined all the way down the street. It was specifics, details. 3 minutes, they were here. I called him. Next one, I got up, I went in his room. He wasn't there. I looked around the house, thought he might have been in the kitchen, and I'm like, no, that you would have seen that. And so I got in my car and I called him, and I was driving around and we three-wayed the sheriff's department. I'm like, wait, you just said you didn't leave home, and he was there in 3 minutes. The police were there in 3 minutes. What's this about you driving around looking? And him telling you to hurry up and get home, so you ran home, or you mean you drove home. And then the no medicine, no bath, and then the thud in the last one, and the polygraphs, and it was too many lies, too many changes. And he kept controlling the interviews, because every time she spoke, the story changed, and it seemed to change with what was going on online. If you compare the interviews to what people were saying online, the trash can. There was a video of the trash can. So the next story, he had chores, so I sent him out to take the trash. Well, that had been posted on video, so that was integrated into her story. And I'm like, she can't keep up with what she's told people. And I was just writing these notes, and I'm looking back and forth and back and forth. I'm like, and it was like my whole body froze. I'm like, oh my God, what have they done? What has happened? Why? And that was my question, why? And then I see those custody papers, and I knew those words were lies. They put all that on the custody papers, but then as soon as she goes back to her mother, they were in such danger from you. And I'm like, again, what is going on? I have never followed. I'm not a big YouTube follower. I don't watch these things. And, do I watch investigation, discovery. Of course, every woman does, but I'm not one of those deep crime divers or anything. But I got in this because Sebastian is blood of my blood, basically. And I happen to love my Aunt Suzanne dearly. And I have been sick just watching this and seeing, they leave, they go, 2.5, 3 weeks after, not even that, he's missing. And then, oh, he can be anywhere by now. No, as a mother, if my child, I don't care if my child was 30 years old, as a mother, I would not leave. I would have my cell phone planted to my ear. And if I wasn't home, as soon as I got home, my porch light would be on and I would never leave my house, much less go camping. He said he had to go back to work, but he had just said that he was told not to go back until this was all done. It was lie after lie and leave the house. And they've been vacations since then. She went to Myrtle Beach, they've been to Louisiana. And I'm like, this is not how people with missing children behave. Apparently, to me, it just, in my opinion, it's like they know he's not coming home. If I start crying now on your show, I will not stop. So I'm going to say that.
Okay.
It's sick. To me, it makes me sick.
The last time you spoke to Frances?
Before she went away. No, I take that back. I did see her when my Uncle Don passed away.
Oh, so she was out at that time?
Yes.
Did Katie speak to her mother at all?
Yeah.
Do you know if they have regular communications to this day?
I can't say for certain, but it appears to me they do.
Did Sebastian speak with her at all that you saw? Well,
yes,
at the funeral.
Yeah. Well, they're in, Suzanne and Frances are right there together. So if they're FaceTiming, I'm sure it would be mutual. Aunt Suzanne is Katie's grandmother.
Grandma, why do you keep mixing up aunts and uncles? Sorry, I apologize.
Because they're my aunts. They're my aunt and uncle, but they're Katie's grandparents.
Gotcha. So, and then that was her favorite because she was very close to her grandfather, and Aunt Suzanne was his wife.
Yeah. My Uncle Don was a wonderful, wonderful man. He could play the guitar too.
Happy New Year, everyone. This is something I prepared for you guys. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. Thank you for dropping that link. Thank you so much. If you guys didn't have a chance to go over and sign the petition, please do sign the petition. I have the link in my latest video, and all you have to do is go down to the description and click the link. You can also share it out on Facebook and anywhere that's shareable, Instagram, all those good sites, right? Get the word out about Crystal McCrory, I want to say it right, Jones. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, Panda Bear's mom. Happy New Year, couponing. Happy New Year, Star, Betty, Gracie, Lil Red, Trishy, Betty H. Let's see, we got Star. Happy, guys. Happy New Year, Chief. Happy New Year, Chief. Good to see ya. All right, guys. Fantastic. Thank you. I just wanted to add all the kiddos we've been talking about. You're welcome, Jana. You are so welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being such a good sister. Margaret Chapel, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are having a great New Year. I hope you get to smooch the one you love. And I hope you're having a happy, happy New Year. 11:01 couponing. Not yet. You're an hour behind us. I'm Eastern time, so I have the first New Year, I guess. This year, well, depending, I guess in the United States at least. I'm not used to being on the East Coast yet. I would have been an hour before too. You're welcome, Gracie. Thank you. Thank you. Aw. Show Poodles, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. If you guys hear the bombs going off in the background, that's just because people are excited. So, all right, guys. So a whole lot to unpack in this one. So Katie's got some family out in Cali, some step family. Sherry Berger, nice to see you out. It's 10 p.m. in Idaho. Happy New Year anyways, Sherry. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Sure. Oh, Chief, I will definitely mention Jean-Benet Ramsey. Yes. Beautiful little Jean-Benet Ramsey. Yes. Yes. It's 11:03 there, Betty. Well, hey. Yes. Yes, Jana. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Sherry Harper. Yes. Okay, guys. So, Trishy's in Cali. Star, too. Okay, guys. So, yeah, basically, Yeda's praying for peace. She says it's about Sebastian and not about hate. She just wants people to look for him. Yeda doesn't believe that Sumner County Sheriff's Office is doing their job. She does not believe in them. She doesn't believe what they have to say. KP wants to stay for the money. So she talks about the humble beginnings before and says that, Katie's not used to that type of a lifestyle and she may not want to give it up. And it just kind of goes back to what we were talking about, how the neighbors overheard CP telling Sebastian and Katie awful things, using the R word, and also saying it's him or me, and then also saying things like, you get rid of him or I will, just really disgusting, awful things, right? So with that being said, she talks about the three-way sheriff's call. She talks about Katie driving around and looking around. Now, we do know that Katie's vehicle was found on surveillance in the school parking lot. So we do know that she had to add that detail in. And I do agree with Yeda 100% here that Katie was adding details based on what was coming out and to match the information that was coming out. This is also true of the trash can. Now, there was a trash can, someone taking the trash out, a video of that was added into the Chronicles of Olivia statements and interview. That was never a part of the previous interviews. And Katie liked to have thrown in that Sebastian has chores and one of them is taking the trash out. Although it is unclear who was actually taking the trash out that evening. And then she says, as she's watching the Chronicles of Olivia interview and the stories are changing, and then she hears the thud added to the Nancy Grace interview, and then the no polygraphs happen too. She said there's so many lies and so many changings of stories. She also adds in that Chris was controlling the narrative, and I couldn't agree more. Now, that's just my opinion. Yeda was taking notes, right? She was taking notes. Yeda is not a true crimer like us, guys. She doesn't typically watch true crime. But Yeda says something that it just stuck with me, and it really pulls at my heartstrings. She said, Sebastian is blood of my blood. Sebastian is blood of my blood. And she wanted her Aunt Suzanne to have some peace. She loves her Aunt Suzanne. She wants Seth to have peace. She said she's been sick over it. When she saw that they left, she said it made her sick. She said as a mother, she would never leave her children. If her child was missing, it didn't matter how old they were, she would have her phone attached to her hip. And in her opinion, she said that they know that Sebastian isn't coming home. And it did pain her to say that. And I could tell that it pains her to say that, because just the inflection in her voice, she keeps up this theme of guilt throughout the entire interview, but she's also very strong in her beliefs, and I respect that. And let's see, sparkling cider, yay! All right, Lady Freedom. We was there a really detailed timeline in the folder I sent you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will. I will definitely incorporate that next time into the next live that we have. So, thank you so much for sending me that, Little Red. I have some docs to send you over to. Did my air come on? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I can't believe you guys can't hear like all the fireworks in the back. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my air came on. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is we're gonna play the next clip.
If I had different words, I would use them. I just wish everybody would just take a step back. You know, read his name. Just look at his name and only look at his name. Stop taking the low road. Stop being dirty, hateful, nasty, and read his name. And remember, he's somewhere out there and he needs to be brought to where he's supposed to be. And it's, nobody's going to find him calling people ugly names or accusing people of ugly things and doxing and bashing. That's not going to work. No, it's not. And hating the father, but not understanding that the father's trying and has tried to talk to the mother. There's silence on one side. Come together. Everybody, all these channels, all these creators, all these Facebook people, just stop the hate. Show some love. Say a prayer. Find him. Nobody's going to find him if everybody's just focused on hating each other and being ugly. And it's so disappointing. That day when you were in court and I was watching, I flipped it on and I think everybody had streamed court TV and they were like drooling. And I just turned it off. I was like, okay, this is the lowest anything could ever get. That nobody's talking about Sebastian. Nobody. No sense in even watching anything. Nobody is talking. First of all, there's no updates from any law enforcement. And I don't think there ever will be, other than maybe hopefully my hope came in when Dog and Nick joined in. Just, and I keep my ears open. I send messages to family members and see what comes back. And it's just casual. And I'm like, what? So don't think I'm not still digging. I will continue to dig. I will continue to hope. And the reason for my post, again, going back to that, is because I lost faith in a member of my family. And we don't have to be close to be family. And just seeing it and doing my research and watching all the details and paying attention to the details and knowing that, okay, this doesn't make sense and there's no way you did that, and you don't overstimulate a child and then go to bed, and I thought you slept with the dogs and you put the dogs up, you crated them. Wait, that's not what you said. And and it was like a steady sinking into a hole, because I truly came into this, I'm going to help Katie find that child. And it did not take me long to sink into the hole of, oh my gosh, she knows where he's at. I think she knows where he's at. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I hope it was an accident. But the more Chris talked, the more I felt I just need to focus on finding him, because I don't think there's going to be anything from that side. And for everybody in the chat, focus on finding him. Don't focus on hating anybody. Just focus on loving that boy. Pray for his father. Pray for everybody involved. And pray for Sebastian. Oh, now I'm going to cry. Wow. I cannot imagine what it would be like 24/7 wondering where your baby is. I know I wouldn't be sleeping. I probably wouldn't be eating. I would be wondering if they were eating. But take care of yourself, because when he is found, regardless, you will need your heart, body, and soul to take care of everything else. If you have got to have faith in God, love yourself, remember that sweet face, and dear God, don't give up. Don't give up your love and your hope. And no matter where he is, he knows you love him. He knows you. He knows his dad. Nothing will ever change that. But take care of yourself. You're no good to anybody if you can't take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
And I am praying for you. Oh, sweet thing. If you are out there, Lord, let us know. Find somewhere to call. Call your daddy. Call your great grandma. And if something has happened to you, the great grandpa's up there. Just, you're loved by so many more than you could ever imagine. And we're praying for you. And green's my favorite color too. I'm sure there's plenty, but like I said, I didn't post that expecting it to go so crazy wild.
Yeah.
But I am glad I did it. I just want people to take the focus off of themselves and to realize this isn't about old fights, new fights, bickering, whatever. It's about finding the sweet boy. And, you know, I always thought respect was out there. And I've seen so much disrespect since March, and unwarranted disrespect. But I've also seen so much love from so many people that if we could just keep that love growing and keep looking and support Dog, support Nick, support Betty. You know, I support you, Betty. I'm going to say that loud and clear. I have watched this from the beginning, and everything has just angered me and nobody is trying to take his name out of other people's mouths, but they're sure trying to take it out of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And his name should be in everybody's mouth, everywhere. His picture should be in everybody's mind, everywhere. It should be ingrained. It should be posted everywhere. He's missing. And he needs to come home. And that's all that matters. I can see it on there, and I'm not going to even answer that question. But I saw that question, and I was saying I'm not even going to answer that question. And I hope everybody knows that I am not doing any of this for me.
Right.
I'm just getting this point across. You know, because of that, I made that post, and I've gotten wonderful support, and I've gotten terrible hate. And that post is because that's how I feel as being part of this family. And this isn't for me. This is for Sebastian. So, and thank you so much, Betty, for having me on here. And
absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Okay, guys, so a lot to unpack there too. Yogi, it's really nice to see you, Yogi. Happy New Year. She says, yeah, he's going to throw her under the bus before it's over. I agree. I think he's going to be a stool pigeon for sure. For sure. Unless Mama Socks is involved. Thank you, Lil Red. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And let's see. I got change. Good to see ya. Yeah, I did some steam cleaning. All right. Happy New Year. Be careful there. I'm so sorry about that. Oh my goodness. And say his name, Betty H says, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And I agree. Say a prayer. Yes, I agree too. I agree too. Dearest, kindest, I will promise thy. Aw. Panda Bear's mom says, we need to show love, not hate. I've been through the hate. We need peace. Amen. Panda Bear's mom. And saying prayers for you, dear. And Trishy says, reading the X post from CP's PI, the worst hate trolling. I cannot believe he's actual professional. Yeah, I have not. I have not. I have not went and read it, but my goodness, I got changed. Yeah, I feel like he was a pro. He was before, I think. Yes, good to see you, Sherry. Happy New Year. Gracie says, if it was an accident, why not call 911? Great point, Gracie. Great point. Gracie agrees with Laura Cobb, and I do too. Betty says, in my opinion, the more CP talked, the more I totally believe they know exactly where Sebastian is at. I couldn't agree more with that, Betty. Well said. Sebastian does have the sweetest little face. Oh, yes, he does. Forever Nikki's mom. He does. He has the sweetest little face. They know Betty H. Gracie says, but I don't feel he is with us anymore. Oh, my goodness, I know. Star, Betty H, absolutely. Every red flag you don't want to see, but they're there. Amen, Star. Chief says, absolutely. Thank you for lighting up green. Panda Bear's mom, Star, thank you with the prayer hands in the green for our Sebastian. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. In my opinion, Grace, maybe because the accident was also partially deliberate, but it went too far, and so they had to cover it up. Oh, yeah, it's hard. It's hard, guys. It's hard. Good theory, Trishy. Kathy says, welcome, Kathy. Pray the grand jury is covering Sebastian's case this January, and enough evidence has been found. I second that. I'm praying with you. I'm praying with you guys. Trishy's praying too. Yes, Gracie. Kathy, Forever Nikki's mom's praying with you. All the disrespect is why I'm changing my fishing channel to true crime. Well, there you go, Chief. There you go. And Kathy, hopefully it will be, Star says, Kathy, hopefully it would be nice to see the case move towards justice and answers. Amen, Star. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Minnie. Thank you. East Coaster here. And Kathy says, Trishy, good to see you. Gracie says, let's hope we will never know unless changes come forward. Kathy, they will meet a few times in 2025. I got changed says, where are the good, oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, for flyers. Oh, okay. Where are the good vacation spots, possibly travel spots would be places to put flyers? Absolutely. Hotels are a great place too because of all the travelers, if they'll let you. Most front desk agents will. Mama Socks will protect her son, not KK. Amen to that, Gracie. I truly believe that. True. Oh, thank you, Lil Red. That's so sweet of you. I subbed up to your channel too. And Kathy says, keeping his name alive and pressure up. Amen, Kathy. That's what we have to do. RV Park Star, RV Parks. I am excited too, Lil Red. I will go and get your channel to drop it. Yay. Thank you, Gracie. Margaret, does anyone have traditional New Year's dinner? Ooh, what's traditional New Year's dinner, Margaret? I'd like to know. I'd like to know. And let's see here. Couponing. Thank you, couponing. Yes, cabbage related. Forever Nikki's mom is eating cabbage. And Margaret says, Sebastian, you are so loved. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. You're so loved. Sebastian's so loved. And let's see. Okay. Margaret, I've had black eyed peas and collard greens. Good luck and money. Woo woo, Kathy. Woo woo. All right. I'm not a big fan of black eyed peas, but I'll like eat like one scoop if it's gonna bring me some money, or good luck. um, and Lil Red says, I hate to say it, but I think he has been gone since day one, and that's the reason they scaled back the search on the hunt for him. Yeah, Lil Red, and we can't forget that they did search the landfill after that, and honestly, they don't look for people who are alive in landfills, unfortunately. Sylvester says, fireworks still going off. I live on the 4th floor and 15th floor apartment building. Oh, wow. Yeah, we still have them off shooting off fireworks here too. I got changed. There needs to be areas that are created for missing people. I've tried to volunteer, and they pay for, if there's areas. Ham hogs. Okay. Yeah, I use those in beans, like when I make the beans and stuff. Star says, I don't think the disrespect gets better on true crime side. Just saying. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, unfortunately. Sylvester, good grief, stay safe. From Star. All right, guys. Got that right, Kathy, says Margaret. All right. Okay, guys. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, Brown Eyed Virgo. Good to see you, Brown Eyed Virgo. Nice to see you, and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for lighting up the chat with green. And let's go to our next video. And I believe, oh yeah, we are.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here.
I'm so sorry. I thought I had one more pertaining to Sebastian. So at this point, guys, just really quick, Yeda's talking about silence on one side. There's no updates from Ellie. She is grateful for Nick and Dog the Bounty Hunter, though. They do give her hope. And she says that she won't stop digging and hoping and paying attention to details. So Yeda is very determined. I think she is super brave for coming forward, and I really do believe that she is caring, and she didn't mean any malice or hard feelings for coming forward. And G of Twins, thank you. I hope you have a happy new year, Lot Lizard. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, Trishy. Thank you, Trishy. Ham hogs, it comes off the hog. Margaret. Oh, goodness. You crack me up, girl. Okay, so thank you, Trishy. Okay, guys, now we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. Well, we're going to completely switch gears. We are going to talk about Crystal, and I am going to play you a couple of videos, and I'm going to change our background here really quick. There we go. Okay, so here's Crystal, guys. We don't know what happened to Crystal. This case is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I think a lot of you that follow me and have followed me for a long time know that I have been through DV, and I did survive it. Crystal was not so lucky, in my opinion, and I believe that there is I believe that there was foul play involved. Let's just say that. So I'm going to let you tell me what you think. I'm going to play this video that I made earlier, so just bear with me. It is a video that I prepared to put online, and then I wanted to share it with you all. So here we go.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. Today I want to bring to you Crystal McRory Jones Watts. This is her sister Jana. She seeks justice for her sister Crystal. Let's watch.
Some days I struggle. Some days I cry. Some days I'm holding on to all of the pieces just so I can feel whole. And on the days where I feel like I can't go on, I remind myself that I've made it through everything that was meant to break me. I've made it through everything that was meant to push me back down. Because within me is a fierceness that nothing can put out except for me. And with that, stand a little taller, and I face another day.
Jana has started a change.org petition for her sister Crystal because there's been a lack of investigation that led to a situation where they have ruled that Crystal took her own life. But her sister Jana says not so fast. On February 9th, 2023, 43-year-old Crystal McCrory Jones Watts was found dead in her home of an apparent gunshot wound to the head in a small town of Oak Grove, Louisiana. Her husband, a former employee of the West Carroll Parish Sheriff's Department who investigated her death, was found to have changed his narrative of his whereabouts on the day of her death. Due to his close friendship with the investigating agency, her death was immediately ruled that she took her own life. Only 2 hours after her body was found and her husband did his recorded interview, they made this ruling. Some investigation. The family was actively denied an unbiased investigation by the state police, even after the shell casing of the fatal bullet was found by her husband 9 days after her death. Her husband also had her body cremated against the wishes of her family, destroying any physical evidence, as very little, including gunshot residue testing, was taken at the scene. Her sister Jana obtained a laptop that belonged to her sister that had more incriminating evidence against her husband. When all the evidence was taken to both the sheriff and the local DA, her sister Jana was lied to and blatantly called a liar. The family is currently working on getting Crystal's case reopened and are hoping to have an actual investigation done to give her family closure as to what happened to her that day. We are hoping to achieve this with the help that you sign the petition and give her family a chance to get the answers that they deserve. We hope that you will sign the petition to reopen the investigation so that Jana may have some justice. It always amazes me what beautiful souls are caught up in such horrible circumstances when they're in a situation of domestic violence. It always amazes me that those who are supposed to protect against such injustices become a part of such injustices when they put their hands on their wife or their spouse. Please consider signing the petition to help Jana's family get justice for Jana. There is no reason why they should have to live without her, and there is no reason why they should have to live without the answers. It's bad enough when you go through a situation like this, but it's even worse when the police are involved. It's even worse when the police are your husband and he's the one that is putting hands on you. Some of us are lucky enough to survive this. Others of us do not. Can you imagine someone taking your sister's life and then that same person turning around telling you that she took her own? Jana's sister has worked tirelessly to try and find the justice that her sister deserves. But again, her sister was taken from her in 2 ways. Once when she was unalived, and the next time was when she was cremated against the family's wishes. Please sign the petition. And if you are in a situation where you are dealing with DV, get out. Get out before it's too late. Tell someone. And when you are getting out of it, make sure that you are as safe as possible, because that's the most dangerous time. The most dangerous time is when you're willing to leave this person and they might come back after you. They might try to find you. They might try to stop you from leaving. But there are resources out there. Please call the domestic violence hotline, make a plan, and get out.
Some days I struggle. Some days I cry. Some days I'm holding on to all of the pieces just so I can feel whole. And on the days where I feel like I can't go on, I remind myself that I've made it through everything. that was meant to break me. I've made it through everything that was meant to push me back down. Because within me is a fierceness that nothing can put out except for me. And with that, I stand a little taller and I face another day.
On the morning of February 9th, 2023, Crystal Jones made a doctor's appointment, but she never made it. Some say the investigation into her death is riddled with mistakes. Now, almost 2 years later, the family says they are haunted by questions that may never be answered. A West Carroll Parish Sheriff's deputy found Crystal Jones dead inside her home after Crystal's husband, Tony, called the deputy asking him to conduct a welfare check. According to the investigative report, just hours later, the chief deputy interviewed Crystal's husband for the first time.
I'll be taking the statement from Tony in reference to a self-inflicted gunshot wound of his wife, Miss Crystal McCrory Jones.
Crystal's sister Jana believes it should have been investigated more before the sheriff's office declared it a suicide.
It took them 7 minutes to interview him, and in that 7-minute interview, they mentioned that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Eventually, reports did come back. According to letters sent to state police from Jana's lawyers, those reports were full of errors and discrepancies. Jana says one glaring mistake made her question the entire investigation. The investigative report states law enforcement never found the shell casing. The husband did a week later. But Sheriff Matthews says the casing is pictured in the crime scene photos.
That's when I said something is wrong, because he said that casing was plain as day in a crime scene photo that 5 sets of eyes had missed, and it wasn't there. It's in no crime scene photos.
As the investigation continued, Jana says the amount of errors kept piling up. According to the case file, the ballistics report misidentified the gun. You can see on the ballistics report, it identifies the gun as a Ruger EC9, but if you check the serial number, it's actually an LC9. The coroner's report had multiple mistakes, including Crystal's name being misspelled, incorrect birth and death dates, the time of death was scratched out and changed, and health conditions were listed that Jana says Crystal did not have.
It also listed that she had pneumonia and seizures. My sister never had any of those medical problems.
I talked to a retired police chief with over 20 years of experience in police work. He says when simple details are incorrect, it raises questions.
I don't want to criticize another law enforcement agency or somebody that's in that business, but the truth is the truth. And if you don't do a thorough job and get all the details right that are obvious, that would cause me to ask a lot of questions.
According to the case file, there was no canvassing of the area, no interview with neighbors, and there were less than 40 photos taken of the scene. In some photos, the family dog could be seen on the bed with the body.
They would handle things totally different if it was their loved one. I think that they just messed up from the very beginning.
Feeling like the West Carroll Sheriff's Department failed in their investigation, Jana reached out to one of the leading cold case private investigators in the country.
I believe the steps that were taken in Jana's sister's case has caused concern in the community, as it should. And that takes away the credibility of the sheriff.
We reached out to the West Carroll Sheriff's Department with requests for their policies and procedures to investigate homicides, suicides, gunshot deaths, as well as securing and photographing crime scenes. In an emailed response to KNOE, Sheriff Matthews said, quote, "We did not deny your request. We simply did not have that information to provide to you."
You got to have policies and procedures and protocols for how you go about doing things. There are certain steps that are just certain steps. I don't care if it's in Louisiana or Michigan or wherever it is. There are certain steps that you go through to develop a profile.
After being turned away by state police and the state attorney general's office, Jana and Sheila went to Washington, D.C. to ask lawmakers for help.
I believe that the city should probably start looking at Jana's case because, in my opinion, people have stepped out of the rules, and that makes the city have a problem.
I reached out multiple times to Sheriff Matthews for an interview to see if he could explain some of the errors in the investigation. At one point, he did agree to talk. On the day of our scheduled interview, he never answered my calls. He later told me he was no longer interested in speaking.
Okay, guys. So a lot to unpack there. So this all occurred back in 2023. So we'll just start there. Holly S. says this reminds her of the J.P. Miller case. Yes, there are a few cases like this where the family is not satisfied with LE and the coroner's or the medical examiner's opinions on the cause of unaliving. So, but yes, so this all occurred in February 9th, 2023. We are coming up on the 2-year anniversary of Crystal's unaliving, and that is my opinion. And I have took the last night to do some research. I have some wonderful people in the chat. Forever Nikki's mom is one of them. Gracie, Hey Jude, Star. All of my girls have assembled into this army for Crystal. They were working on it just as hard, if not harder than I was, reading, researching. Ember, thank you, Ember. Nice to see you, sweetheart. And guys, I'm like shaking. Okay, so I've been like this most of the day because this is terrifying. It's just like that eerie feeling, just like Sebastian's case. Just to know that law enforcement could have botched an investigation so badly. But this man, Tony, was also a police officer. So Jana had a doctor's appointment. She made a doctor's appointment and she didn't show up for the doctor's appointment. Okay, Shanann Watts. Let's put Shanann out there. Shanann Watts also didn't show up for an appointment that she had made. Thank you, Gracie. Thank you. Thank you. So Jana is fighting for her sister. She wants justice. She was found to have had a gunshot wound to the head, which was later ruled to be her taking her own life. So this all occurred in Oak Grove, Louisiana, which is in West Carroll Parish. And the family here was denied an unbiased investigation. Now, a couple of key things. First of all, Crystal is beautiful. Her smile is just out of this world. The dedication that her sister has for her is so sweet, and so awesome. Fierce is a good one. So 9 days after this occurred, a shell casing was found by her husband, Tony. She was also cremated against her family's wishes. Now, this doctor's appointment that she never made, she was found unalived in her home. her husband, Tony, called the sheriff to do a well check. The well check was conducted, and the same sheriff took the statement. 7-minute interview with Tony, and about 2 hours later, it was ruled that Crystal took her own life. I don't believe that. Okay, we'll just put that out there. I do not believe that, allegedly, in my opinion. And we're going to deep dive into this case. So I'm going to do another video, and then we're going to discuss it again, because I want to bring in some evidence that I found, and I will tell you why I believe this. But first, I want to just give the family story, what I've gathered from the family, and then just kind of share that with you, just some food for thought. And then I'm going to go ahead and deep dive and create another video too. So they're saying that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. It looks like there were some very glaring mistakes, because let's see here. The casing wasn't found by law enforcement. It was found by the husband. Glaring mistake there. How was he able to find this shell casing, and why weren't the police officers the ones who found it? Thank you, Star, for the purple hearts. Thank you. And ballistics report misidentified the weapon. Misidentified it. Okay. How does this happen? Let's see. We have the coroner's reports. There was misspelling. They misspelled Crystal's name. Okay. The time of death was scratched out and changed. They said that Crystal suffered from pneumonia and seizures, which she did not. There were simple details in the coroner's report that led another officer who was willing to and was brave enough to come on camera. He says the simple details, those are the what really raise questions. When you see these simple details that are mistaken or misrecorded, or, I mean, let's just be honest, putting spelling the name wrong of the person who you are looking at. I have a close friend of mine who works at the Springfield Mortuary in Missouri, and I'm going to tell you right now, they are very careful about these things. It's unprofessional at the very least. Scratching things out and then entering in the correct or different information, whether it was incorrect, correct, or just different information, it was mishandled, in my opinion. Their family dog never left her side, and was seen in the pictures as well. West Carroll Sheriff Department botched the investigation, again, in my opinion. And the PI says steps that were taken in this case are cause for concern, and it does hurt the sheriff's credibility. And I think that was really well said. Now, of course, I know the PI has done a lot more research than I have. She's probably has tons more information, that I haven't been able to take a look at. But I'm just gonna go with yes, Ember. Yes, Ember. Thank you, Star. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, there's just too many things here. If it was maybe one or two details missed, it's a possibility, but these people do this for a living. They do this every day. I would think there would be, someone seasoned that could, thank you, Holly, that could, help us out here. So justice for Crystal McCrory Jones, and that's Jana, her sister, says autopsy was also wrong. Name was wrong. Hair and eye color was wrong. And internal organs were listed that she did not have. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, there you go. There you have it. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I there are no words. There are no words. I mean, I would be livid. Holly says this department seems more corrupt than in Sebastian's case. I mean, especially when it's a police officer. You know, this is not uncommon, guys. Unfortunately, and I hate to, I know that there are good police officers out there. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But it happens more often than we would like to think that a police officer is involved in unaliving his significant other. Gracie says, Jana, did the ME have the wrong name on the wrong death certificate? What the hell? Star says, did they just play Mad Libs with her autopsy? What in the actual F? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what the heck? It's I mean, it's unbelievable, but believable. Holly S. says, Jana, so unacceptable. Well said, Holly. Thank you. Forever Nikki's mom, also there was bruising and markings on her body that was not acknowledged. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. Gracie says, I mean the wrong autopsy report. Janice says, Gracie, ME also had 2 different case numbers on her file. Oh my gosh. Ember says, heartbreaking. Trishy says, exactly, Star. Gracie says, Jana, horrible. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you. 104. Thank you, Trishy. Thank you. This was rushed through, in my opinion, says Star, just like the interview and the cremation. Yeah, how dare they? Okay, how dare they do a cremation against the family's will? Unfortunately, it may have been a case where, and Jana, you can help us out too. Jana, anytime that you want to come up on panel, just let me know and we can prepare something. Or if you want me to interview you and I can make it into a video, just let me know. If any of your family members want to talk, you know, we don't have to do it on a live. I can always just show the video or post it however you guys would like. But I think this is so important. I can't believe I've never heard of her story before. I can't believe that I haven't heard this. Although she sounded so familiar, her name, Crystal McCrory Jones, sounds so familiar to me when you first, presented her case to me. Holly says, lady, your deep dives on the Proudfoots were the best ever. You got this. Thank you, Holly. Thank you very much. Betty says, my question is, where was, okay, she was shot in her head. Margaret says, I wonder how many people they have done this to. Well, exactly. I mean, how deep does the corruption run? That is a really great question. Is this a situation where they're covering someone else's butt and this was the first time they ever had to do that? It seems hard to believe. In a small town, sometimes these things happen. It's who you know in a small town, unfortunately. Holly S. says the corruption is shocking. I agree. It is absolutely shocking. Gianna says, Betty, right side of the head, temple to temple. Betty H. says, or Forever Nikki's mom says, Betty H. in the head, but that is a whole other story. And I'm sure a lady will cover it. Yes, we are going to get into it, guys. I just wanted to present this to you all tonight because the sooner the better, right? It's the sooner the better because Crystal deserves to have justice. There is a petition, as I mentioned. I know I mentioned it a bunch of times, but I really hope that you will consider going over and signing it really quick and then sharing it out. They wanted it unintelligible, seriously. Star? That's a good point. Betty H. asks if she's right-handed. That's a good question, Betty. Thank you, Ember. Betty, she was. So she's right-handed. Jana says, next time I can definitely come on panel. Okay, great. Then let's have you on panel. We'll plan for not tomorrow, but the next day. And just so I can get a little bit more prepared, because I really want to take some time, you know, and be able to cover everything. But I'll get together with you. I'll send you my phone number. And Holly S. says, one of my very good friends' last name is McCrory in Texas. Oh, she just sounded so familiar to me. I don't know why. Ember says, first time hearing of this case, just horrific. Yeah, it was my first time too. And, you know, well, Gabby Petito's case is the reason why I wanted to start a true crime channel. And then I realized that YouTube doesn't like certain words. And so it took me a little bit of time. Star says, I went on for too long, just lost it in this quiet. No, you're fine, Star. No, you don't have to be quiet. You do not have to be quiet. Betty H says the corruption is everywhere, not only in the big cities. Yeah, absolutely. It is. It is. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. I mean, I'm sorry guys, let me plug this bad boy in. Yeah, just the dedication that you have for your sister. Like I said, you remind me of my little sister. She's loving and tenacious, and I just saw a lot of similarities there. And I know that she would do that for me too. I know she would. Couponing says, this is the first I've heard of this too, and I live in Louisiana. So sorry, Jana, that happened to your family. Absolutely, couponing. Thank you so much. Kathy said, gunshot residue, nail scraped. I don't think so, but I will go ahead and let Janet answer that, Kathy. I don't think that they investigated thoroughly at all, in my opinion. And Jana says, couponing, I love your name. Crystal's favorite thing was coupons and thrifts. Oh, I love couponing in thrift stores. Yes. You never know what you're going to find when you go out at a thrift store, you know, or a flea market, or places like that. Garage sailing. Oh my goodness. Forever Nikki's mom says, Kathy, they never tested for it. Neither was done. Kathy says, LE husband should have been tested too. Absolutely. And the fact that they were doing a well check. Oh, sorry guys. I think there's a little bit of feedback coming. I apologize. It's because my wires are crossed. Absolutely, Kathy. Great point. Star says, I meant there's too much silence surrounding Crystal's case. I feel like Janet has been screaming from the rooftops with very few noticing. I felt the same way, Star. I felt the same way. I was blown away by this case. I was completely blown away by it. Forever Nikki's mom says, Star, I feel the same. Janice says, Star, absolutely. I was silenced for a year until the year mark passed, and I couldn't be quiet anymore. That takes a lot of strength to sit and be quiet. Like, even though it doesn't feel like you're doing much, sometimes that's the only thing we can do, and pray. That's the only thing we can do. And so you did everything right. You did everything right, Jana. I'm just sorry that your sister hasn't gotten the exposure that she deserves, and that you didn't get a chance to use your voice, because your voice is very, very powerful. And I think that shows. And Betty H says, justice for Crystal McCrory Jones, Jana. Stay strong. Prayers for you and your family to get justice for Jana soon. Chief says, someone said the McCrory name sounds familiar. Could you be thinking about the McClure case from years ago about the little girl that went missing and found alive in the well? Oh no, Chief, no. I knew this was I thought I had heard her case before. I knew she was an adult. But yeah, that was another case. Absolutely. Yeah, Florida does have a lot of outdoor flea markets. I haven't been to any. Kathy says, thanks everyone for answers. Great channel and mods. Oh, of course, Kathy, of course. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being here. Couponing, yes. Justice for Crystal. Kathy, thank you. Thank you. Or I'm sorry. Forever Nikki's mom, thank you. And Kathy. Ember XOXO says, bless you, Jana. My love, thoughts, and prayers are with you and your family, sweetheart. May this be the year that all walls been broken and justice will come forward for her. Amen, Ember. Thank you. And Jana says, I feel like 2025, her name will be heard. Yes, I really hope so. We're going to do everything we can. And like I said, you have a lot of people who love her. I mean, oh gosh, people were working on her case. I just know that. Island, hey Island. Island says, big hug, Jana, praying for justice for the family. Yes. Star, it really does. Your love for your sister is fierce, and it must have taken so much out of you. Yes. She's so strong, though. Oh my goodness, is she strong. Betty says, justice meant justice for Crystal. Jana. Betty, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. And Kathy says, not an attorney, but sounds like a solid civil suit on LE for not having investigation policies and procedure might, put needed pressure on LE. That's very true, Kathy. And there are some resources out there. I know, hey Jude, I know she's probably sleeping or taking care of her puppy. I know she's going to have a full night with him. But I will send you a link to Jana. Now that you mentioned that, I forgot to send that link over. My goodness. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Star. Star, my daughters, her only two nieces is what kept me going. They're 16 and 10 now. Oh, okay. Yes. Star says, aw, Jana, thank God you have them and they have you. That's right, Star. Thank you. And Jana says, Kathy, unfortunately, my attorneys won't push the civil suit. Yeah, and a lot of times I think it's because they can turn out fruitless and things like that, but it's definitely something to consider. And, just getting her story out there too and getting her name out there, I think that we're definitely going in the right direction. And it's whatever's going to fit for your family the best, Jana, really. Trishy, thank you, Trishy. She says prayers for justice for Crystal. Chief says, oh, okay, Chief, so that was an older case. Same here. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you, couponing. Yeah, Trishy, it does remind me of the Greenberg case. It was ruled self-unaliving, but no way. There is no way on God's green earth that Helen Greenberg unalived herself, guys. Nancy Grace covers that case extensively. She does a phenomenal job with it. Her parents are begging for justice for Ellen Greenberg. And when I started going over Crystal's case, Ellen Greenberg is the first person who popped into my brain, Trishy. So well said. Well said. Margaret, thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, she says. And pray that it will be a better one for everyone. And God, blessings to all. We deserve a better year. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Margaret. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, my love. You're amazing. And Forever Nikki's mom says, Lady Freedoms, hey, Jude gave me to me today. I sent them to Jana. Oh, good. Oh, thank you. You're amazing, Forever Nikki's mom. Guys, Forever Nikki's mom was on it. I'm telling you. We assembled an army, signed the petition. Thank you, Trishy. Thank you so much. Yes. Her name is Jessica McClure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chief. And Jana says, Trishy, yes, the Greenberg case was so similar. Okay, good. So you're familiar, Jana. Yeah. It was the first thing I thought of, because I thought there's no way on God's green earth. It's just, Kathy says, justice for Crystal, go outside your county, biggest city closest. Oh, okay. Okay. And Star says, Trisha, you rock. Thank you. Jana says, Kathy, the attorneys were from New Orleans and Georgia, unfortunately, that didn't help. Okay, yeah, yeah. Some of those bigger attorneys, you know, you might find one that would take it, you know, but I know it can be really painstaking to deal with lawyers and then also paying a retainer. I mean, it's so very expensive. It's so very expensive. And Kathy says, that is strange. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm just so sorry about the whole situation. I can't for the life of me figure out what in the world is going on. I don't know why they got so many things wrong, and I don't know why after a 7-minute interview it was determined. I don't understand that. And then they're trying to put medical diagnoses that weren't there. That's very curious to me as well. There are so many details that are so curious, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So we're going to do a deep dive into the evidence in this case. And it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. It has obviously rocked the community, the small community. And instead of counties, Louisiana has parishes. So it's the same really as a county, but they call it a parish. And it was West Carroll Sheriff. So West Carroll Parish. In Louisiana, it was Oak Grove, Louisiana. And Ember says many lawyers are skittish when it comes to going against law enforcement. Absolutely. And that is what is so difficult in this case. Obviously, if her husband was law enforcement, it's going to be more difficult, but it shouldn't be. That's why I love our Grady Judd here in Florida, because he doesn't care what you are. He doesn't, if you're a police officer, he's going to get you even worse. And he says that. And I think that's how it should be. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So if that person didn't want the kind of heat that it was going to bring, then don't do the crime, right? And you know, this is all alleged, in my opinion. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But as I said, as I present this information to you, this evidence to you, while we have Jana up on panel, I want you to listen and tell me what your opinion is on it. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. And Jana says, Star, I've heard of that too. Also, Christian Enrico case. Oh, okay, Enrico. All right. And Jana says, I went to Washington, D.C. with his mom, Ray. Wow. Wow. Yeah, and that's mentioned in the news clip. That you went to Washington, D.C. Actually, sorry, that is the way to get things done. You've done such a stellar job. I mean, in terms of just making the right moves, that is a good move. That is a good move. Jana says, Ember, yes, they are. And Star says, I'll have to look that one up, Jana. Yes, I know. I don't think I've heard of that one either. And Ember says, which leaves us feeling like we hit a brick wall for help. Absolutely. Absolutely. How could it not be discouraging? How can it not be frustrating? I mean, if this was their family member, would they want people scratching things out on the coroner's report or the medical examiner's report? Would they want their family member's name spelled incorrectly? Would a 7-minute interview suffice? I don't think so. I don't think so. Star says it's all over. Oh, sorry. There we go. It's all over Culpable podcast, and Kendall Ray covered it. Okay. Okay, great. Oh, Holly S. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll definitely look into that too. Thank you. Ember says, I love Sheriff Grady Judd. He reminds me of an old movie I saw as a kid, Walking Tall. Much respect for him. Yes, he's amazing. He's amazing. I love Grady Judd. He is, he's what all the police officers need to be emulating, in my opinion. And Jana says, Star, so many cases like this. Absolutely. There are so many cases like this. But a lot of times people don't want to cover them because of the LE aspect of things. But I feel like it's really important. As I said, if you don't want people to speculate, then don't do something. So, I mean, it's just blatant. Kathy says, my brother was LE and successfully sued county for not having policies and procedures and won. It took 4 months, but that's not your state. Oh, yeah. And see, what about internal affairs? I wonder, we talked about that in Sebastian's case. Too many, one is too many. Absolutely, Star. And Jana says, Kathy, we just found out in November of this year that they didn't have policies and procedures, so I might need to pursue that. Yeah, and see, that's what's crazy. You know, you would think they would have this down pat. I mean, even a smaller, maybe they wouldn't have as many resources, but they would definitely have policies and procedures. I mean, I've worked at the front desk at a hotel, and we have policies and procedures. Any job I've worked at has had policies and procedures. So you definitely think that the police officers would have something in place. And Star says, Kathy, that's amazing. It takes a lot of guts to do that because of the pressure for loyalty. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Star. Well said. Modern day. Whoa. Buford Pusser, LOL. And Star says, oh, definitely, Jana, new lawyers, civil suit, the crapola out of them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, definitely. Internal affairs never responded to Jana's complaint in March of 2023. You know, and they make it really difficult, and then it's also a lot of paperwork. They'll send you like the request and things like that. It's awful. Awful, 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 awful. Star, you're silly. Couponing says, thank you, Margaret, and you too. Jana says, I just filed suit for not complying with a FOIA request within the time frame. Okay. All I asked was for the status of her case. They tried to say they didn't reply, but it was the wrong email address. Okay. Oh, they said they did reply. Oh, I see. Okay. 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 Oh, boy. I mean, it's just like, it can't get any worse than that. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. To me, it is just like, nothing to be done. And Jana, does the husband, does Tony, does he still work as a police officer, or is he still active in the sheriff's department? Another transcription error on their part. Exactly, Jana. Exactly. How many things are they going to get, you know? Oh, Christian Andrico case, 48 hours not long ago, did an update. Okay. Oh, cool, Chief. Very cool. Thank you for letting us know that. And Forever Nikki's mom says, I just want to let everyone know Jana has receipts for all of this. She had left no stone uncovered so far. Yeah. Yeah, it's extensive information, guys. That's why I want to be able to compile it up. But I wanted to kind of introduce Crystal as, and Forever Nikki's mom gave me guidance on this too. I wanted to show who she was. I wanted to show how much she meant to her sister. And Jana says that he is no longer employed by them. Well, that's a good thing. That's good. That is a good thing. I don't see how he could still have his job after the mess. Star says, is there a bingo card for we dropped the ball? Yeah, really. Bingo. Bingo. And Jana says he quit after a year because he didn't pass the police academy. Couponing says 1212, make a wish. Oh, because he couldn't. Okay. So Jana says he quit after a year because he couldn't pass the police academy. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Jana. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. You know, I wanted to make sure I got it right. Oh my gosh. I was just so happy when you told me that you were happy with it. So, because it meant Crystal's case means a lot to me. And Star says that was the most polite way I could put it. You did good, Star. You did good. Happy New Year, couponing. Happy New Year. Well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful New Year. I'm gonna probably call it a night because I want to get the next video rolling. I want to do some more research because there is a lot of documents to go through, and then I also want to make sure that I'm picking out the key things for us and then prepare a really great show for us. So it'll possibly be tomorrow night, but it might even be the next day, just because it might take a little bit of extra time. Thank you, Holly S. Thank you so much. That is amazing. Yes, please share it, guys. If you can share this the video that I just made, there is a link in there in the description for the petition. There is also just again that I think that whoever did the and forgive me, well, I know it was KNOE, right? They did it, but they did a phenomenal job, I think, of exposing. I think the sheriff that stepped forward was super brave and awesome. And that's so sweet, Jana. Says thank you, Holly. And and so it's one of those things where yeah, it's just oh gosh, talk about dropping a ball. Talk about dropping the ball. And just it's awful. It's awful. Kathy, so glad I stumbled onto your channel. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Kathy. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And Jana says, a billboard goes up across the street from Sheriff Deputy with her name and picture on it, January 22nd. All right. Is it the billboard of the Justice for Crystal, the one that's purple? And then also, I put purple hearts for bravery and for domestic V. And so, but what was Crystal's favorite color? Like, what was her favorite color? I was just curious about that. And on the 22nd, Jana, I will do another video if you will, send me, I'll say January 22nd. And that'll be 25 here, guys. I almost wrote 24. Billboard, if you will, and I will, like, if you want to get video of it or whatever you want to do, and I will make a video and include it for you. I think that's amazing. I think that is so amazing. Forever Nikki's mom says, Jana, many prayers to you. We are standing strong with you. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And then Forever Nikki's mom, she says, thank you from Jana. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Jana. Jana says, okay, fantastic. And Holly S says, love you, girl. Justice for Crystal McCrory. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Holly. I love you too. You're amazing. Purple was her favorite color. Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's why I did those purple flowers was for you know, yeah, but that is good to know. That is great. That is great. Oh, Star. My goodness. Star, thank you so much. Thank you. And if you get a membership, please thank Star. Thank Star, please. Oh, night and much love to you, couponing. Thank you so much for being here. Raka, yes. Aw, Holly. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Star. Star says beautiful live. Oh, very moving. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to do a good job for Jana. Thank you, Jana. And Donna says, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to bed. I have had a terrible cold. Oh, Donna, I'm so sorry to hear you have a cold, hon. I want to pray for you. Aw, Star, you're an amazing girl. Thank you. And Kathy says, I would, oh, did somebody say, oh, couponing, there we go. Night and much love to you, couponing. And Kathy says, I would find out when the sheriff comes up for re-election and run against him. Good platform to make others known how dysfunctional they are. Be a thorn. Kathy, I like the way you think. And Ember says, purple is my favorite color. Also represents healing energy. Oh, Ember, I love that. Is the chakra formation heart as well. Oh, I am, if I say it wrong, Chayarian? I don't know, Ember. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. I totally botched that. Just like the sheriff's botched this investigation. 2028 is re-election. Oh, wow. Okay, I know the guy running against him. Oh, perfect. Perfect. That's great. Good. Let's get somebody good in there. You know what I mean? Oh, boy. I'm sure the community's ready for that. Nobody likes that. You know what I mean? Nobody likes to hear that. It could be anybody's family member, you know. If people think of it that way, oh goodness sakes, then nobody, you know. The algorithm got you, Ember. Aw. Forever Nikki's mom says good night, all. Thank you for being here tonight. Lots of love and prayers. Thank you, Forever Nikki's mom. I couldn't have done it without you, girl. You've been we've been supporting each other, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate it. And Jana, I'm impressed. You're good. Yes, I'm impressed too, Kathy. Super impressed. Island says, big hug, Jana. We will be praying for justice for the family. Thank you, Island. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And Happy New Year to you. And wow, thank you so much, Star, Ember says. Betty says, purple hearts, justice for Crystal and your family. Stay strong. Justice for Crystal, McCrory, Jones, Jana. Oh, wonderful. And Jana says, Betty, thank you. And Island, thank you. Kiri. Is that right? Kiri. Thank you. Thank you, Ember. Kiri. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. If I don't, you might have to refresh me. And Jana says the community paid for the billboard. Oh, really? Oh my gosh, that's so fantastic. See, people don't like that. People don't like ugly like that. They do not want it. That is so good. Purple is the color of royalty. It is, Chief. Yeah, I've actually read a couple books on symbolism, and yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And Betty says, Jana, always, and you stay strong. We are all with you. Amen, Betty. Thank you so much. That means the world. That really does. Thank you. You all are so fantastic. Justice for Sebastian and Crystal. Thank you, Star. That's right. Kri. Thank you. Thank you, Star. Even when I got it, I think I got it, you know, and then no, still don't got it. Oh, Jana, that's fantastic. She says we raised 1,512 hours for it. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is so wonderful. That is so wonderful. Now that is love. Ember, Kri. You guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Shama Loma Mama Manana. Oh my goodness, Star. Oh, all right, you guys. Oh my gosh. Jana, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's, and I hope that we can share out and sign the petition. Please, pretty please, pretty please, with a cherry and sugar on top. Let's see her try to say that one. Yeah, then Star will tell me, get your stuff together over there, lady. Get your stuff together. Janice says, thanks to all. Oh, thank you. Thanks to all that you are saying her name. Absolutely. Crystal deserves it. She deserves it. I love her smile. I just love her energy. I mean, I can just tell she is so, 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 so missed. Yes, thank you, Star. All right, everyone. You have a great rest of your night, and I will see you next time. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you so much. Justice for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and justice for Crystal. Oh, I got one more from Betty. Hold on, guys. Betty says, Lady Freedom, I wish I could afford a membership, but right now I couldn't. Oh, that's okay, Betty. But I love you more than any words will ever say. Hey, that means more to me. That means more to me, Betty. Don't ever feel obligated, ever, 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 ever. Because, and you never know. If you are in here, you might have like one of the memberships land on you. So I'll be praying that it does. So thank you, Betty. That was so sweet. Thank you, Jana. You have a good night too, sweetheart. Thank you so, 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 so much. I really appreciate you being here. And Ember says, be blessed, sweetheart. Much love. Thank you, Ember. It was so nice having you. Please come back. I love you guys all. Justice for Crystal. Justice for Crystal McCrory Jones. Watts. Justice for Crystal. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Be safe out there. Be safe out there.